You are looking live at Perth, the capital city of Western Australia. We approach Optus Stadium, which is the location of tonight's pit stop on the road to WrestleMania, as we welcome you to the 2026 Elimination Chamber. And tonight, who will be the undisputed WWE Champion come WrestleMania? We will find out by the night's end. There you see the final boss, the Great One, The Rock, the man who looks to strip away the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes of his pride, of his dignity, and of his championship gold. Cody Rhodes hopes to once again tear down the bloodline, in doing so retaining his WWE Championship and hopefully moving one step closer to going one-on-one with one of his closest friends in CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania. It is tonight's main event, the highly anticipated undisputed WWE Championship matchup, as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes makes his very first defense of the gold against the High Chief, the final boss, The Rock. Also tonight here in Perth, who will be the WrestleMania challenger for Roxanne Perez's WWE Women's Championship? 6 women will enter inside the confines of the chains, of the structure, of the demonic steel. Who will be the last woman standing? Who's going to WrestleMania? Back at the Royal Rumble, the irresistible force, Nia Jax, eliminated 12 bodies. Tonight, she looks to just get through one. The Dark Angel, Stephanie McIntyre, holding the Women's Intercontinental Championship, hopes to survive this encounter with the irresistible force. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the road for the greatest of all time, John Cena. But before his final match at WrestleMania, he makes a pit stop here in Perth to go one-on-one with the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. Absolutely no restrictions in this contest. Who will defend the Women's World Championship against Royal Rumble match winner Julia at WrestleMania? We find out right here tonight as the Juggernaut, Jordynne Grace, looks to take away the gold from Iyo Sky. And speaking of world championships, the heavyweight champion of the world, Damian aligns with Jay and Jimmy Uso to take on common enemies in the WWE Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and of course, the mystery partner, still to be revealed. And kicking things off in moments, who will challenge Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title in Las Vegas at WrestleMania? 6 men will enter, 1 man will leave the #1 contender. Who will survive the unforgiving playground known as the Elimination Chamber? We find out right here, right now in Perth.
And now, live from Perth, Australia, WWE Elimination Chamber.
Over 50,000 members of the WWE Universe expected tonight. This is Optus Stadium in Perth, Western Australia, for one of the most important stops on the road to WrestleMania. Who will move one step closer to the grandest stage of them all? We find out right here tonight at the Elimination Chamber. And as that unforgiving structure surrounds the squared circle, the man who kicked off the Royal Rumble last month is the same man who will kick off the Elimination Chamber. A man who is hell-bent on getting back to the promised land. The visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. It is go time here in Perth.
The following contest is an Elimination Chamber match. The rules of this match are as follows. 4 participants will be locked away in their respective pods. 2 superstars will start the match in the ring. The participants will be released into the match in random order. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall or submission. The last superstar remaining following the eliminations will be declared the
Rollins competed inside the Elimination Chamber last year. Made it down to the final 2 with CM Punk. Tonight he looks to get to the final 2 as well, but this time looks to be the winner. Or will it be the ultimate underdog going to WrestleMania?
And his opponents, first from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, weighing in at 212 pounds, Sami Zayn.
Well, for the last several months on Monday Night Raw, Sami Zayn has been engulfed in a war with his ex-best friend, Kevin Owens. But tonight, Sami Zayn is going to put those issues in the back of his mind, and he is going to focus on the task that is staring in front of his eyes right now. The Elimination Chamber, the unforgiving steel, the miles of chain, and of course the opportunity that awaits on the other side. Sami Zayn has never been a World Heavyweight Champion here in WWE. Surviving the Elimination Chamber could guarantee that come Las Vegas, he gets the opportunity to do so. If anybody can do it, if anybody can pull off this feat, it is certainly the man who has built a career off being the underdog, and that's Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, 2 of the Monday Night Raw superstars that'll be engulfed inside of the Elimination Chamber tonight. 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown. But of course, Damian Priest from SmackDown, the man who awaits the winner of this contest in Sin City. And here comes the man competing in his 3rd straight Elimination Chamber. But will tonight be the night that Theory finally gets the job done inside of the confines of that very structure? Austin Theory, we talked about it on SmackDown this past Thursday night. A man who last year has finally started to put all the pieces together. His career has been one of high highs and low lows. This is a man who is WWE Champion for a month's time in his rookie year on the main roster. He's a former Tag Team Champion. He's a former United States Champion. And he's got all the tools to be a mainstay in the main event scene on SmackDown. But Theory's got to get the job done where it matters most, and tonight is the night to do so. Not some momentum on the side of Austin Theory after that loss against Seth Rollins this past Thursday night, but maybe Austin Theory will be able to bounce back tonight, maybe in his 3rd straight trip to the Elimination Chamber. The 3rd time will be the charm. Maybe tonight is where Theory becomes the #1 contender for a championship he's never held, and that being the World Heavyweight title. Here he's staring down each and every man inside of the pods already as he takes his ahead of this contest. We've been talking about it for weeks, but tonight could be a banner evening for the Bloodline here at the Elimination Chamber. And it could all start right here and now. Tonight here in Perth, Jacob Fatu takes on John Cena. Tonight here at Optus Stadium, The Rock takes on Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. But kicking off this extravaganza is the Men's Elimination Chamber, where Bloodline representative Solo Sikoa takes stage. We may be looking at the next #1 contender to the World Heavyweight title. And although in recent months we found out that it has always been The Rock pulling the strings of Solo Sikoa and company over the last year on Raw, that does not take away the destruction that has lied at the hands of Solo over the last 12 months in the red brand. Solo Sikoa very well may be leaving the Elimination Chamber, the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, and the Bloodline could be one step closer to their ultimate plan of all the power and control in their hands.
You don't want none.
Or will the #1 contender be the man who's hot off the heels of an early match of the year candidate against the world's champion at the Royal Rumble? It could be a huge rematch ahead of us come WrestleMania if AJ Styles has his way.
And from Gainesville, Georgia, weighing in at 218 pounds, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
You know, we talked a lot about momentum this last week across Raw and SmackDown heading into the Elimination Chamber. But as for AJ Styles, I think the word would be motivated. I don't think there's any man inside of this chamber tonight more motivated than the phenomenal AJ Styles. He's been very vocal that at this stage in his career, he's only got so many opportunities left to become the World Heavyweight Champion. 4 weeks ago at the Royal Rumble, he fell short to the punishment Damian Priest. Styles, becoming so close from being champion, has got to feel desperate. And as we mentioned, has got to feel motivated to get back to the promised land. Will tonight be the night that AJ Styles punches his ticket for another go-around with the punishment and possibly moves one step closer to holding the big gold belt once again? Styles will kick off this matchup. Against this man, Australia's own Auszilla.
From Black Forest, South Australia, weighing in at 330 pounds, Big Bronson Reed.
We talked about the destruction at the hands of Solo Sikoa over the last year on Raw. But what about the last 12 months on SmackDown, where this man, the walking weapon of mass destruction, Big Bronson Reed, has left a pile of bodies in his wake? AJ Styles, one of those men. Bronson Reed has had one goal since losing the Intercontinental Championship to Solo Sikoa last year at WrestleMania and then getting traded to SmackDown weeks after. Become World Heavyweight Champion. Tonight, another opportunity to move one step closer to doing so. Well, we have our 4 men engulfed in the pods. We have our 2 that'll kick off the Men's Elimination Chamber matchup. Who's going to WrestleMania? So much history between all these superstars in tonight's Elimination Chamber. We heard from Damian Priest this past Thursday night on SmackDown, who talked about a lot of the history with almost everybody inside of the Elimination Chamber tonight. Of course, Damian Priest with that big 6-man tag team matchup still to come later tonight here at this stadium, so we can't be focused on this #1 contenders matchup at the moment. But by tonight's end, we will know our World Heavyweight Championship matchup in Las Vegas in Allegiant Stadium at WrestleMania. Every minute or so, those pods are going to enter. Another superstar is going to be entered into the fold. Similar to the Royal Rumble, the matchup can fill up very fast. But it's about how long you can survive. It's about still standing inside of that ring on the other end of the war. And here you go as AJ Styles takes the fight to Australia's own Bronson Reed. One of these 4 men is about to be let loose from their confines. 2 from Raw. I should say 3 from Raw, 1 from SmackDown. It looks like the other SmackDown representative will join his blue brand brethren in Bronson Reed and AJ Styles. Austin Theory, a man who's hot off the heels of a near 6-month United States Championship reign last year, would love nothing more than to bounce back after a disappointing Royal Rumble appearance and win the Elimination Chamber. As we talked about, it was this past Thursday night on SmackDown, Austin Theory falling short to Raw, Seth freaking Rollins in their promotional matchup. Theory may be the first casualty, not just yet. Remember in the Royal Rumble last month, it was Seth Rollins and Austin Theory who kicked off the whole matchup, and it was Rollins who eliminated Theory from that matchup. Theory 0-2 against the Visionary in recent memory. I'm sure Theory would love nothing more than to eliminate Seth Rollins tonight en route to try to win the entire contest. Big Bronson Reed looking to mow over every man inside of this unforgiving structure, and They need a shovel to get Austin Theory off the canvas as Monday Night Raw's Sami Zayn going to be next to enter the field. And the thing about it, only about a minute or so until those pods enter, but the men inside of the ring start to feel the fatigue. You come in the fresh individual. Sami Zayn looked to pin AJ Styles, but you come in that fresh individual. The superstars of the ring have already been through a fight, have already been through a war, and when you have multiple men inside of that ring gunning for you all at one time, fatigue gonna set in a hell of a lot earlier. Later, you can enter this matchup. Later, your pod can open up and you can get inside of that ring. The more it's gonna benefit you. And if it only is that 4, 5, 6 minutes separating you from the last superstar who entered the contest. Sami Zayn and Austin Theory making their way to the outside of the ring here, nearing the chains inside of the Elimination Chamber as Solo Sikoa or Seth Rollins now gets ready to enter the matchup. It looks like it's going to be Monday Night Raw's Seth Rollins, who defeated Austin Theory this past Thursday night on SmackDown, and maybe looking for the elimination of Austin Theory as well. Remember, pinfalls and submissions, the only way to get an elimination in this contest, and they can take place on the outside of those ropes. Sami Zayn trying to put down Seth Rollins early as Bronson Reed going after AJ Styles in the far corner. Reed and Styles, couple of big-time bouts going back to last summer on SmackDown. AJ Styles actually defeated Big Bronson Reed in the semi-finals of last year's King of the Ring tournament. Very familiar with one another are the phenomenal One of the Auszilla, who have taken the squared circle right now as Sami Zayn, Austin Theory, and Seth Rollins have surrounded Solo Sikoa's pod. And of course, it is that man, the Street Champ, who is going to be next to enter the field. The pod has entered, Solo is in, becomes the freshest man, and if I'm Solo, I'm going after either Bronson Reed or AJ Styles, who have been in this matchup about 5 minutes at this point. Solo Sikoa coming in last year. I wonder if that had anything to do with the final boss. The Rock trying to do all he can to make sure Solo becomes #1 contender tonight. Rock has certainly not shied away from expressing his disappointment that both Solo and Jacob Fatu did not win the Royal Rumble last month as Austin Theory looks to eliminate Sami Zayn on the outskirts. Break out the Wild Coyote Cam for this matchup to try to keep up with all the action inside and outside of the ring. Austin Theory, a countdown to Sami Zayn, and our first casualty may be upon us. Oh, there's the guts, there's the resilience, and there's that underdog mentality as Sami Zayn's able to survive. Solo Sikoa, Bronson Reed crossing paths for the first time since March of last year. Remember, it was Solo who defeated Bronson Reed at last year's WrestleMania to become the Intercontinental Champion as Sami Zayn takes flight. Zayn and Theory at each other's throats at ringside. And Sami Zayn has lit a fire under 50,000 strong here in Perth. Man, you gotta have eyes in the back of your head in this kind of matchup. Easier said than done. Blue Thunder bomb to Seth Rollins out of the floor. And Rollins able to kick. Do our best to keep up with all the action, folks. Bronson Reed up against the pod. Sami Zayn up on top of the pod. Hey, Zayn, you don't need to be up there. And he tried to go after Seth Rollins, but Rollins got out of the way at the last second. Solo just came off the top with a headbutt to Austin Theory. My God!
Austin Theory has been eliminated.
Bodies are flying left and right. If there was a roof on this stadium, it would have been blown off already. Solo Sikoa has eliminated Austin Theory off that diving headbutt. Austin Theory was the third man to enter this matchup. Caught up in the crosshairs of 5 other individuals, and tonight, unfortunately, will not be Theory's night. And Sami Zayn nearly eliminated as Solo wipes out AJ Styles. On the closest side of the ring right now is Bronson Reed now going after Solo. History between those two men, no love lost. This is what the Elimination Chamber is all about, is Bronson Reed crushing AJ Styles. If your eyes on Solo. Looked like he wanted the spike, but Bronson Reed had it scouted. Reed's been there before, going back to last year's WrestleMania. Big Death Valley driver by the Auszilla to get Solo off his back. With Austin Theory eliminated, we know it will be one of these 5 men challenging Damian Priest for the heavyweight championship of the world at WrestleMania. Down goes Rollins. Solo looking to eliminate Styles. Not over yet. AJ Styles still alive. Got a hell of a battle thus far inside of the confines of the unforgiving steel. Sami now looking to eliminate Solo Sikoa. A lot of history between Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. Short history that Sami does not want to revisit. The cross is down pass with Solo Sikoa again here tonight. AJ Styles and Sami Zayn now going at it as Bronson Reed picking apart Seth Rollins on the far side of the ring. Samoan spike to Sami Zayn. That's it.
Sami Zayn has been eliminated.
Well, Sami Zayn, we mentioned it a moment prior, a lot of history with the Bloodline, and unfortunately it's a Bloodline representative who's going to send him to the showers here in Optus Stadium. Solo Sikoa with 2 eliminations thus far, that being the only 2 with Austin Theory and Sami Zayn. We are down to 4 men. 2 heavyweights in Solo and Bronson Reed, and 2 former world champions in AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. Rollins and Reed taking the ring, Styles and Solo taking the outskirts. Of course, a lot of history between Rollins and the Bloodline as well. Look at Rollins here, going for a curb stomp, but he got caught. The Auszilla cuts him down. Styles are going to pick up the scraps on Rollins. Same man he has stood eye to eye with the last 2 weeks on SmackDown. 2 of the fan favorites to win this Elimination Chamber matchup tonight. Rollins, pedigree on Big Bronson Reed. Looking for the elimination, not just yet. AJ getting back in the fight. Solo Sikoa taking his time on the outskirts, measuring each individual. 2 eliminations thus far. Solo's wrestling a hell of a matchup. Not looking to make any mistakes. His Styles on top of the spiral tap. Spiral tap to the Auszilla. Bronson Reed's gone.
Reed has been eliminated.
Australia's own Auszilla, the walking weapon of mass destruction. Big Bronson Reed eliminated via AJ Styles. Well, I'll tell you, that's huge. That might have been Australia's favorite, but nevertheless, Rollins with the pedigree, the spiral tap by AJ Styles. Big Bronson Reed eliminated. Oh, look at Solo getting back in the fight. Looking to eliminate Styles, not just yet. We started with 6, we are down to 3. Styles, Rollins, Solo. Referee Chad Patton nearly getting caught up in the fight. Will not want to be stuck inside of a cage with these 3 men. Rollins here. Looking for a curb stomp and just lands enough of it. Will that be all she wrote for an old foe of Rollins, but Solo Sikoa able to kick? Solo Sikoa could certainly start down the right path for the Bloodline on what could be a banner evening here tonight at the Elimination Chamber for that family. Oh! First it was bodies flying left and right earlier on. Now it's kicks being thrown left and right as Solo Sikoa looks for his 3rd elimination. Wanted the Samoan spike. Styles was ready for him. Styles, uh-oh! Styles clash on the Street Champ. Solo kicks out again. Solo Sikoa clearly more motivated than ever before to become the #1 contender for a world's title. A lot riding on Solo's shoulders tonight. The pressure mounting. He's looking to set the precedent for the Bloodline's evening here in Perth, Australia. Styles trying to take over and rule the ring as he collapses both Rollins and Solo into the corner. AJ Styles now sends Solo to the outside. Styles, last year's King of the Ring winner, held the World Heavyweight Championship for mere minutes at SummerSlam before Finn Balor cashed in the Money in the Bank contract. Styles being put down by Damian Priest last month at the Royal Rumble. Styles wants nothing more and to win the gold back. Keep your eyes on Rollins, who might have just sent Solo Sikoa's hopes and dreams straight down the drain. That's one way to neutralize the Street Champ. Styles softened him up. Rollins went for the kill. Taking a page out of, I don't even know if you want to call him a friend, maybe sometimes foe, the OTC Roman Reigns book with that spear, cutting Solo in half, driving him straight through the pod. Styles on top. Rollins scaling the wall. Down he goes. Perth on their feet, Solo in the ring, Styles looking for a spiral tap, but Solo able to roll out the way. Rollins, however, trying to pick up on Solo Sikoa, but Solo Sikoa able to kick out. My goodness, what a matchup this has been, and I don't know how the hell Solo Sikoa is still into this. Styles and Rollins have thrown their best at the Bloodline representative. AJ and Rollins need to focus on the biggest target in the ring right now, and in my opinion, that is Solo Sikoa, but obviously not holding back, willing to go through each other if the #1 contendership for the heavyweight title is on the line. Solo, who is somehow still moving after being speared through that pod moments ago, setting his sights on the visionary, Seth freaking Rollins. A lot of history between Rollins and the Bloodline going back to last summer and bleeding into the fall. Solo now dropping Rollins on the buckle. Wait a minute here, Styles, small package. Solo didn't see it coming. He got him.
Solo Sikoa has been eliminated.
Styles catches Solo. Solo's eliminated. And all of a sudden, we are down to 2 men. Styles and Rollins have sent messages to one another the last 2 weeks on SmackDown, staring each other eye to eye, drawing a line in the sand. Styles from SmackDown, Rollins from Raw. Who's going to WrestleMania? Styles with Rollins, perched on top. Uh-oh! Brain Buster! Rollins looking through the roof into the skies of Perth as Styles, for the highest position available, diving off the top and nearly putting Rollins away, but Rollins still alive. AJ Styles throwing caution into the wind, all in the means of becoming the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. But Seth Rollins still has a pulse, and the visionary might just want it more. Rollins now going for a cover. Styles able to kick. AJ Styles, who has been extremely vocal about only having so many opportunities left at this stage in his career. Rollins, who has been vocal about wanting to get back to the main event of WrestleMania for the first time in 2 years. Who is going to get what they so desire? Both had heartbreaking defeats back at the Royal Rumble. Tonight, one of them with a change of pace inside the Elimination Chamber. Styles trying to fight back and not allow a rally from the visionary. Knows Rollins has got to be hurt. Styles, of course, started off this matchup, has been in a couple of minutes longer than the visionary. Styles going for the kill. Styles clash. No, Seth Rollins survives. How the hell is Rollins still in it? AJ flew off the pod. Then the Styles clash. Both times Seth Rollins able to kick out. And you gotta wonder if Styles feels like he's back where he was at the Royal Rumble, thinking what the hell is he gonna have to do to put his opponent down? Sending Rollins right into the chain wall. Seth Rollins is obviously hurt. Styles like a shark that smells blood in the water. One of these men will challenge Damian Priest at WrestleMania. Styles with history with Priest. Rollins with history with Priest. Who is going to write another chapter on the show of shows? AJ Styles measuring his man. Does he have what it takes, however? What does he have left that he could possibly throw at Seth Rollins? Oh, wait a minute here. Rollins created the distance. Rollins pedigree! Might have caught Styles. No, AJ Styles having to kick out. Rollins, in a matter of seconds, caught AJ with a boot, delivered the pedigree, but unfortunately for the visionary, AJ Styles still moving. Seth Rollins might not have gotten the victory there, but he seems to have gotten momentum back on his side. Or maybe we spoke too soon. AJ Styles now, couple of elbows to the abdominal, knocking the wind out of Seth Rollins' sails, collapsing him out of the corner. And now it is AJ Styles, who's the sole man left on his feet, but there's a knee by Rollins. Caught him right on the temple, it seemed. Rollins now, kick to the gut. Curb stomp by the visionary. Into the cover. Seth freaking Rollins is going to WrestleMania. Oh my goodness, what a match. Bodies were flying left and right. Feet were scaling the pods, scaling the walls. Every man throwing caution into the wind, all in the means of becoming #1 contender. But AJ Styles, no matter how bad he wanted it, no matter how motivated he was, just wasn't good enough on this night to keep down the visionary, to keep down the revolutionary. Seth freaking Rollins has secured his spot back in the main event of WrestleMania, where he will challenge the Punishment, Damian Priest, for the heavyweight championship of the world. So much history between Rollins and Damian Priest, and come WrestleMania in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, they will write another chapter for SmackDown's richest prize, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Here is your winner, Seth
Rollins stated upwards of a month ago on Raw that he was hell-bent on getting back to the main event and challenging for a world's title for the first time in 2 years. And after surviving the Elimination Chamber, Rollins' promise comes into fruition. You are looking at the new #1 contender for SmackDown's World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins is going to WrestleMania.
In case you've been living under a rock, WWE is on fire right now.
Professional wrestling is electrifying once again.
And next year, we're bringing the show of shows to Las Vegas. WrestleMania in the entertainment capital of the world. Only question is, are you ready?
Well, of course, tonight at the Elimination Chamber, our final premium live event pit stop before the grandest stage of them all, which is coming your way Saturday night, March the 7th, and Sunday night, March the 8th. Live from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, it is the show of shows, WrestleMania!
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Well, the action set to roll on here in Optus Stadium in Perth. The Women's Intercontinental Championship set to be decided. And the challenger tonight, the irresistible force, Nia Jax. Well, we want to take you back to a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. Stephanie McIntyre engulfed in an Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup with Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax would hit ringside, grab a hold of Stephanie's Women's Intercontinental Championship, which of course La Primera took issue with. Well, this opened up Stephanie McIntyre to be taken advantage of by Tiffany Stratton off the distraction. McIntyre tried to get some retribution on Nia a week later. Unfortunately, it ended in casualty. Stephanie wiped out with an annihilator. Well, Stephanie McIntyre out for some retribution tonight after Nia Jax assisted Tiffany Stratton in qualifying for the Women's Elimination Chamber later on, plus what happened the following week in Los Angeles, that annihilator that you previously saw. Well, she was one of the final 3 women in the Royal Rumble matchup last month. She's your current reigning and defending Women's Intercontinental Champion, and she's looking to continue down the road to WrestleMania holding that very gold. But certainly a tall task stands ahead of Stephanie McIntyre tonight. Nia Jax last month at the Royal Rumble, eliminating 12 participants from that matchup. Nia obviously looking to build off the momentum that she built on that night in Phoenix. Looking to ride into the Elimination Chamber, tear down the Dark Angel, and walk away the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Stephanie McIntyre has been in the ring with Nia before. She has defeated Nia before, but can she do it again here tonight? Well, a big fight feel here in Optus Stadium in Perth, Australia, as Elimination Chamber is set to continue with this match, courtesy of Monday Night Raw. The Women's Intercontinental Championship is on the line.
Introducing the challenger from San Diego, California, Nia Jax. And her opponent from San Fernando, Chile, the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, Stephanie McIntyre.
Well, Stephanie McIntyre's 2 goals tonight. Retribution against Nia Jax and retaining her Women's Intercontinental Championship in the process. Nia Jax 2 goals tonight to decimate Stephanie McIntyre and leave here the rightful holder of the gold. There's your next contest here at Optus Stadium in Perth, Australia. This one courtesy of Monday Night Raw, as we previously mentioned. Nia Jax, the challenger, Stephanie McIntyre, the champion. Here we go. We're underway. As we mentioned, Stephanie McIntyre has been in the ring with Nia before, and she has defeated Nia Jax before, going back to last summer on Monday Night Raw. Well, Nia Jax has obviously shifted into a new gear in this calendar year. The 12 eliminations in the Royal Rumble matchup. Obviously, Nia unable to get the job done on that night 4 weeks ago in Phoenix. Looking to build off the momentum that she built on that night and leave here with a new piece of hardware. Stephanie McIntyre standing in her way, and if 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles was any indication, Nia Jax has all what it takes to once again put Stephanie McIntyre through the mat with an annihilator and leave here with the championship gold. Stephanie McIntyre gonna have to do what she can to dip and dodge as she avoids the big boot that time, but Stephanie's struggling to knock Nia Jax down for good here. Uphill battle for La Primera tonight. Able to float over, get out of Nia Jax. Range, at least for the moment, but Nia Jax not budging that time. Stephanie McIntyre trying to stick and move, but Nia is giving her a problem. McIntyre has been champion for a couple of months on Monday Night Raw, has turned away Alba Fire, has turned away Sol Ruca, turned away Jade Cargill as well. But Nia Jax may be the kryptonite to the Dark Angel here tonight at the Elimination Chamber as she hits that elbow that missed a few moments ago. Stephanie McIntyre fighting this uphill battle. She's already struggled to find a range, find a momentum, find where to strike against Nia Jax in this matchup. Nia has obviously looked back upon their previous encounters, figured out where she went wrong, Would not have stepped to Stephanie McIntyre if she didn't believe that she could topple the Dark Angel. And obviously Nia Jax, I think many would believe, to be the favorite here in this championship matchup, even as the challenger. Nia's got her way. This is going to be a long night for Stephanie McIntyre, and it'll be a long trip back to the States for what could be the former Intercontinental Champion in La Primera. See Nia picking her spots, not rushing in, awaiting Stephanie to get to her feet and just mows her over. Now that Nia has halted that early fury from Stephanie McIntyre, Stephanie was trying to stick and move where she could. Nia Jax in full control, and she might have just won the title off that Samoan drop. Not just yet, McIntyre still alive. Stephanie McIntyre would love nothing more than to walk into what would be her first WrestleMania as the Women's Intercontinental Champion, but Nia Jax not looking to allow it. Nia, who was upset by SmackDown's Kairi Sane last year at WrestleMania in Philadelphia, where Kairi became the inaugural Women's United States Champion. Nia Jax looking to head back to the grandest stage this year as one of the champions representing Raw. Stephanie McIntyre trying to rally here in Perth, Australia, but Nia Jax not giving Stephanie any room to breathe, not budging even an inch. Nice sidestep by La Primera. Nia trying to put the boots up. Massive dragon screw to take down the much larger individual. Stephanie McIntyre may see some daylight on the horizon. Missile drop kick off the middle rope. This is what McIntyre's gonna do. Use her assets, use her agility, and try to take down Nia Jax. But unfortunately, it's one thing to knock Nia off her feet. It's a whole other thing to keep her there. Stephanie McIntyre off the dragon screw, had Nia on a wobbly foundation, delivered that missile drop kick. 3 count wasn't to be had, and now she got caught trying to go high risk again. Nia just sending her right back down to the canvas and could be looking for a conclusion as she drops the leg, and Stephanie goes splat in the canvas to win the Intercontinental title. Stephanie McIntyre still alive. McIntyre showing her heart, showing her guts here, but will it be enough to survive the Annihilator? Stephanie whipped off to the ropes, and once again, Nia just mowing her over. I don't call this woman the irresistible force for any reason. Nia Jax damn near impossible to beat inside of that ring. Sending Stephanie McIntyre to the outside. Stephanie, of course, with champion's advantage here, so I don't expect Nia is looking for a count-out victory. Nia's got to get the job done inside of the confines of the ring. She wants to leave Perth, Australia, the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Can, of course, do some damage to Stephanie on the outside here, but might have gotten a little bit too cocky. Gave Stephanie a moment. Stephanie trying to fight back, but Nia Jax, however, not going to allow it as she sends Stephanie McIntyre right to the diamond-plated steel steps. Stephanie McIntyre wiped out at ringside. Nia breaking the count, and obviously Nia is looking to continue to use her surroundings to her advantage. Sending Stephanie back inside of the ring, however. Again, Nia's going to get the job done in between the ropes if she wants to leave Perth the champion. Oh, wait a minute, might have gave Stephanie too much time, and Nia Jax gonna take a fall off the apron, down to the floor. Stephanie back on top. Stephanie McIntyre looking to fly. Crossbody to the outside, takes Nia off her feet. Nia starting to get too cocky, gave Stephanie too much breathing room. McIntyre making her pay. But can McIntyre capitalize? She's got Nia Jax back inside of the ring. Stephanie in hot pursuit of the challenger. Eat defeat right to the jawline. To retain the Intercontinental Gold here in Perth. Nia Jax still in this matchup. Just when you thought Stephanie McIntyre had some daylight, Nia Jax shutting the blinds, saying, "Nuh-uh, not today." Misses wildly off that kick, much to the chagrin of the 50,000 strong here at Optus Stadium. Nia Jax squashing Stephanie McIntyre in the corner. Perth, Australia, all over the case of Nia. Stephanie McIntyre's rally halted by the challenger, and we may be moments away from crowning a new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Stephanie on top, Nia in hot pursuit now. Nia looking for an avalanche, Samoan drop, Stephanie trying to fight back, pulls the leg out from underneath her. Paintbrush in the face of Nia, boot right across the face. Stephanie now going to the top, Nia in the drop zone. Corkscrew moonsault by McIntyre. That's how she won the Intercontinental title, and it's how she's going to retain it here tonight. Survival instincts by La Primera. Stephanie McIntyre ever resilient tonight, withstanding the fire, withstanding the fury, and withstanding the irresistible force, Nia Jax. Nia nearly had this match won on numerous occasions, but dare I say, started to get too cocky, started to get too confident. It allowed a window for Stephanie McIntyre to climb through, and that little bit of breathing room was all La Primera needed to take the most advantage, catch Nia Jax off her game, and retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship here tonight in Perth, Australia.
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, Stephanie McIntyre.
Well, Stephanie McIntyre is having one hell of a Women's Intercontinental Championship reign, and she continues down the path to what could be her first trip to WrestleMania as your Women's Intercontinental Champion. Well, a huge victory for Stephanie McIntyre here tonight at the Elimination Chamber. But coming up next, it is no countouts and no disqualifications at the request of the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Fatu set to go one-on-one with the greatest of all time, John Cena. Cena inches closer and closer to his final match at WrestleMania and makes a pit stop here tonight at the Elimination Chamber. It was a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. Cena returned for the first time since losing the Undisputed Title at the Royal Rumble. Cena threw out the challenge for anyone to answer for right here tonight in Perth. And it was the Bloodline Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu that stepped up to the plate. Fatu said Cena still had some debts to be paid to the Bloodline. Cena had a couple of choice words for Jacob Fatu, which Fatu did not take very kindly to. Jacob Fatu got the last laugh on that night and stated this past Monday Night on Raw he plans to end John Cena's retirement tour a couple of weeks early. Will Fatu keep his promise, or will John Cena put down the Samoan werewolf here in Perth? Well, we are going to find out who will have their hand raised high in this no countouts, no disqualifications collision right here, right now from Optus Stadium. The first singles PLE for Jacob Fatu, and it could be the biggest win of his career.
The following contest is a no-holds-barred match. Making his way to the ring from Sacramento, California, weighing in at 285 pounds, the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu, over the last 11 months since his WWE debut, has been a part of some massive PLE events. SummerSlam, he teamed up with Solo Sikoa in a victory over Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Main evented Survivor Series with his Bloodline in the midst of that traditional Survivor Series elimination matchup. But for the first time in a PLE, Jacob Fatu competes in singles action, and it's one-on-one against the greatest of all time, John Cena. Solo Sikoa did not get his way earlier tonight. Can Jacob Fatu turn the Bloodline's luck around here at the Elimination Chamber? We find out right here and right now. Perth, Australia, the franchise is in the house.
And his opponent from West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing in at 251 pounds, the greatest of all time,
Well, John Cena wanted a fight here at the Elimination Chamber. What he did not ask for is the stipulation that Jacob Fatu requested and that the final boss, The Rock, granted this past Monday night on Raw. Cena walks into a matchup with an unhinged Samoan werewolf where there's absolutely no restrictions. Pinfall or submission, the only way this thing's gonna end. No countouts, no disqualifications between Fatu and a man who is mere moments away from hanging up the jorts come WrestleMania. Fatu looks to end John Cena's retirement tour a couple of weeks early. Cena looks to adjust Jacob Fatu's attitude in front of 50,000 strong here at the Elimination Chamber. From the sound of it, Perth, Australia on the side of the GOAT. The bell has sounded, we're underway. Jacob Fatu hot out of the gate. And after the words of Fatu Monday night on Raw, we should expect nothing less. You know, a couple of weeks ago when these two men came face to face on Monday Night Raw, John Cena questioned Jacob Fatu's loyalty to The Rock, loyalty to the final boss. After The Rock, oh my goodness. Big savant kick by Fatu, just as it was a couple of weeks ago in Denver. But after The Rock has been so vocal about how Fatu, Solo, and the Tongans, nothing but an army to the final boss's demands, John Cena questions why Jacob Fatu even has loyalty to The Rock and the rest of his family. Jacob Fatu didn't take too kindly to those words and dropped John Cena moments later, just as he's doing right now in the ring. But interestingly enough, Jacob Fatu took some of his concerns to The Rock this past Monday night on Raw. Fatu ultimately got what he wanted, which was a no countouts, no disqualifications match with Cena tonight, and of course the main event of Raw this past week against Cody Rhodes. Can't help but remember about what The Rock said in the closing moments of that confrontation. Just remember who brought you here, remember who signed your checks. Ultimately, Jacob Fatu, in the closing moments of that face-to-face with the final boss, got the stamp of approval from The Rock. He's got The Rock's support to come into Elimination Chamber tonight and put down one of The Rock's greatest rivals and a man who has been a thorn in the side of the Bloodline since the fall, and that being John Cena. And Cena looks to fight back. Pretty much been one-way traffic over the last 90 seconds or so since the bell sounded here in Optus Stadium. John Cena not looking for that to be the story of this contest. Jacob Fatu, however, with one goal in mind, and that's to take Cena out tonight. Sending Cena to the outside. Jacob Fatu creating some separation, but I got a feeling he's about to close the gap. The Samoan werewolf going flying up and over, crushing down on John Cena. John Cena has had pretty much no answer to this assault by Jacob Fatu since the bell sounded. Fatu came here to Perth, Australia tonight to eliminate John Cena once and for all. John Cena had announced last summer that this March at WrestleMania in Las Vegas it would be his final matchup. But as Jacob Fatu sent Cena right to the steel post, tonight may be the night where Cena's forced into an early retirement. If this keeps up, I don't like John Cena's chances of getting the happy ending that he so desires come WrestleMania. And Jacob Fatu looking underneath the ring, already taking advantage of the no count-out stipulation. Now he's got a steel chair in his hand. John Cena avoiding it, at least for a moment. John Cena not looking to see disaster upon his trip to Perth, Australia. Classic maneuver out of the arsenal of the franchise. The never seen 17. Cena wanted to fight at the Elimination Chamber tonight. He's getting a war. Cena loading on Jacob Fatu in the corner. Jacob Fatu wants to come at Cena 100 miles a minute. Cena's going to meet him dead on. Going to match that energy. And now it's Cena with the steel chair in hand. The one that Fatu instituted a few moments ago. Jacob Fatu here to eliminate a man who's been a thorn in the bloodline side. John Cena defeated Roman Reigns back at Bad Blood in the Fall to retain the Undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena, of course, leading the team back at Survivor Series against the Bloodline as well. John Cena, as Jacob Fatu stated, has some debts that need to be paid to the Bloodline. And off that elevated neck breaker, Fatu goes for the first cover of the matchup and nearly forces Cena to pay said debts here tonight. Whiplash, John Cena going flying off the middle rope as Jacob Fatu now ragdolling what is no small man in the franchise. Samoan Werewolf been in control about 90% of this matchup thus far. Remember, Cena set up that chair in the corner. Fatu's trying to send Cena into it. John avoids. John Cena never been afraid to break things down to an old school Boston brawl. Getting back into his roots tonight. Fatu wants the savate kick. Cena, little sidestep there, now sends Fatu into the corner. Cena with all his might, Irish whip, and Samoan Werewolf goes head first right into the steel chair. And now Cena in position. Loading up for a little 5-knuckle shuffle. Fatu may be dazed, off the shot with the chair, off the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Fatu still in it. Jacob Fatu already has a couple of screws loose. Now he gets sent to the outside and may have a couple more. Uh-oh. Well, John Cena realizes he's gonna have to throw caution in the wind and do things he wouldn't normally do tonight if he wants to succeed. Leg drop to the outside. Off the top, coming crashing down on Jacob Fatu. John Cena willing to do anything he's got to do to put down Fatu here tonight. Fatu struggling for the first time in this matchup, showing signs of fatigue and wear as John Cena has taken over. And now it's Cena. Oh, searching underneath the ring. Oh! Well, Perth wants tables. Perth's gonna get tables, and Jacob Fatu just ate a table to the face. John Cena breaking out the wood, setting it up at ringside. Gotta believe he's got disaster in mind for Jacob Fatu. I'm sure Fatu is going to try to do all he can to avoid it, but John Cena promised he was going to adjust the Samoan Werewolf's attitude here tonight. Fatu sending Cena to the barricade. Uh-oh, big Uranagi. And this is months of pent-up aggression that the entirety of the Bloodline has had towards John Cena. Coming out tonight, Fatu looking to get the job done on his own. As Cena backed up once again, courtesy of that steel chair, and down he goes. Fatu's first singles match on a premium live event. And it could be the biggest victory of his career. Cena sent back inside of the ring. Jacob Fatu perched on top. Oh man, look at this cannonball by Fatu. Just throwing all of his weight at the never-seen 17. Cena back to his feet, but at what cost? Gets set to the corner once more. Jacob Fatu just continuing to pick the bones here. Cannonball to the corner. Perth, Australia, all over the case of Jacob Fatu. He don't give a damn. He's on top. Samoan splash, and that may be the exclamation point on this match. And a kick out by Cena. Kick out by John Cena. Cena's still alive. You saw how much it took out of Cody Rhodes to defeat John Cena 4 weeks ago at the Royal Rumble to become the undisputed WWE champion. Tonight, John Cena's got nothing to lose, but boy, you best believe he's gonna fight as if his career depends on it, because it just might. Fatu looking for victory there, not to be found. Cena now sent to the outside once more. No countouts, no DQ. Fatu gets caught, a backbreaker right on the knee. John Cena looking for the victory tonight. Looking to ride into WrestleMania in Las Vegas with his head raised high. One-on-one with whoever will be his final opponent at the grandest stage of them all. Cena with eyes on that table. Jacob Fatu, however, putting the brakes on and delivers that savant kick once more. One made famous by Rikishi of the Anoa'i family. And now Cena, who may be sent for a loop. Laid across that table. Fatu going up. Looking for another Samoan splash. This time driving Cena straight through the table at ringside. John Cena has got to be out for the count. Fatu sends him back inside of the ring. You got to get the decision between the ropes. Oh, somehow, John Cena's still alive, but maybe the most unenthusiastic kick out that we could have possibly seen. Cena just barely rolling his shoulder up, but look at John Cena. Read the body language. It's written all over him as he's face first on the canvas right now. Cena's tank's running on E. How he kicked out after being driven through that driven through the table, excuse me, I got no idea. Fatu measured his man. John Cena, however, trying to fight back. Slowly but surely, everything he's got behind those closed fists. Jacob Fatu knocked off the soles of his boots, at least for a moment. Cena now, somehow, enough energy to get to the middle rope and drop Fatu with a shoulder block. Cena going back to the well. Worked once, why not try again? A second five-knuckle shuffle. Oh, not going for the cover just yet. Cena wants to go for the kill shot. Fatu's going up for an attitude adjustment. Jacob Fatu kicking out. Cena starting to rally. Dishing the war right back to Fatu. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The second five-knuckle shuffle, an attitude adjustment, but somehow this unhinged, pissed off, frustrated, and hell-bent Jacob Fatu is back on his feet. Things are just breaking down to a Pier 6 brawl right now. Cena just scrapping with Jacob Fatu. Maybe one of the only men in the entire locker room who's got the gall to go toe-to-toe with one of these wild Samoans. Great strength by Cena there as he sent Fatu for a ride. Far from done, Fatu. Face first off the canvas that time. If Fatu didn't have some screws loose already, best believe he does now. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, what the hell? What's the Braun Breaker doing here? Braun Breaker, spear on John Cena. What the hell? We haven't seen Breaker since the Royal Rumble. And he's had John Cena's name in his mouth for months. Just as Cena seemed to be rallying here in Perth, starting to take over. Fatu's back against the wall. Cena just got cut in half on behalf of an old foe in the unpredictable badass Braun Breaker, who has fled the scene here at Optus Stadium and has left Cena right for the pickings. Oh, come on, John. You gotta shake it off. You gotta fight back. Don't allow Jacob Fatu to get a victory like this. John Cena cut in half by a spear by Braun Breaker. And now Jacob Fatu, like a shark that smells blood in the water. Double spring moonsault. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Jacob Fatu has defeated John Cena in his very first singles match on a premium live event. Well, I'm not gonna sit here and act like Jacob Fatu didn't put the works on John Cena throughout this matchup. He obviously did a number to the franchise, to the Never Seen 17, but John Cena finally starting to rally, starting to make a comeback here at Optus Stadium. 2 5-knuckle shuffles, an attitude adjustment, the strength so deep in the matchup to hoist Jacob Fatu off his feet and plant him face first on the canvas. Only for John Cena's old adversary from SummerSlam last year, who's been haunting Cena for months, Braun Breaker, who's been gone from Raw for weeks, re-emerging tonight and costing John Cena this no countouts, no disqualifications war.
Here is your winner, the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
Well, there's a couple of headlines coming out of this. Braun Breaker, obviously, not done with John Cena. Jacob Fatu, who stepped up to the plate and accepted John Cena's challenge for tonight, making the most on his promise to put down the franchise here in Perth, Australia. On his first singles matchup on a premium live event, the Samoan Werewolf sending shockwaves throughout the WWE Universe with a massive victory against Cena. Can't get enough Universe mode? PLE kickoff shows, live events, all exclusive to Noah Nation Gaming channel members. Hit the join button down below and gain access to more Universe than ever before. Well, a shocking turn of events moments ago here at the Elimination Chamber as the unfinished business between Braun Breaker and John Cena rears its head and aids Jacob Fatu in the biggest victory of his career, no doubt about it. Of course, last month at the Royal Rumble, the beautiful madness Julia saw her biggest victory in her career, and now she awaits the winner of our upcoming contest for WrestleMania. It's the Women's World Championship on the line coming up next here at Perth. Will it be Iyo Sky or will it be Jordynne Grace heading to Las Vegas to defend the Women's World Championship? As for tonight's challenger, the juggernaut Jordynne Grace, over the last couple of months on SmackDown, she has turned over a new leaf. She has ramped up her attitude, and she's left a pile of bodies in her wake. Jordynne has had one goal since arriving on SmackDown last summer, and that is championship gold. And in recent months, she has turned her attention to the Women's World Champion, Iyo Sky, the same woman she has left laying time and time again on Thursday Night SmackDown. Well, obviously the attacks underneath the skin of Iyo Sky. Iyo's out for retribution tonight and also out to retain her Women's World Championship.
The following is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Women's World Championship.
It's not over until I win.
The challenger approaches the ring. And you can ask the likes of Lola Vice, Maxine Dupree, Zoe Stark, and more in recent months on SmackDown. Just some of the bodies that Jordynne Grace has left laying inside of that ring. Jordynne is hell-bent on leaving Elimination Chamber tonight, the new Women's World Champion, and walking into what would be her first ever WrestleMania, stepping inside of the ring with the beautiful madness Julia, and defending the Women's World title. Well, Jordynne Grace, as great as she is, as dominant as she has proven to be, and although she has left Iyo Sky laying time and time again, tonight is where it matters most. Can she get the job done? Can she leave Optus Stadium the Women's World Champion? And although Jordynne Grace has been dominant, Iyo Sky for the last 12 months has been nothing short of excellent. For 344 days, she has been your Women's World Champion. It was last year at this very event that she won the Women's Elimination Chamber matchup. She walked into WrestleMania the challenger. She left Philadelphia last March the champion, and she has successfully defended and held on to that gold ever since. Iyo Sky wants nothing more than to walk back into WrestleMania, still the Women's World Champion, and to go up against the beautiful madness Julia in what would no doubt be a dream matchup inside of a WWE ring. But there is a massive roadblock in Iyo Sky's way of making history at WrestleMania, and that is the juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. 344 days for Iyo Sky might all come to an end tonight. It's been a hell of a Women's World Championship reign thus far, but is Perth, Australia the location where it all comes crashing down for Iyo Sky?
Introducing the challenger from Austin, Texas, Jordynne Grace. And her opponent from Tokyo, Japan, the WWE Women's World Champion, Iyo Sky.
I am sure SmackDown's current Women's United States Champion, Julia, the 2026 Royal Rumble match winner, has got a keen interest and eye on this matchup even after an unfortunate defeat from Julia, courtesy of Ivy Nile this past Thursday night in that mixed tag team bout. But here we go. At the Elimination Chamber, Women's World titles on the line. Iyo Sky putting her 344-day reign on the line against that woman, Jordynne Grace, who just dropped her dead center of the ring. Jordynne reminding Iyo Sky that she has left her laying time and time again on SmackDown over the last 2 months, and she has come to Perth, Australia tonight to do the same. Tonight, where it matters most for Jordynne, she's been a part of SmackDown since last summer. She wants to see her name in the lights at WrestleMania. Tonight's where she's got to get the job done. She finally gets the Women's World title opportunity that she's been itching for months. Jordynne Grace, the powerhouse, no doubt about it. Iyo Sky gonna have to rely on her speed and agility here to try to make it through Jordynne. Nice float over into the Shote uppercut. Iyo Sky not gonna back down. She hasn't backed down from Jordynne Grace at all. Jordynne has simply just had her number. Jordynne set in the far corner, and Iyo Sky doing what we said a moment ago, and that's relying on her speed and agility, something that she has used to her advantage against superstars the likes of Raquel Rodriguez and their great rivalry going back to last year. Iyo Sky has been in the ring with much bigger and stronger individuals, but she has found a way to survive time and time again. Raquel, one of those names. Piper Niven last year at Clash at the Castle, another. Iyo Sky now meets the challenge that is Jordynne Grace, and although their paths have crossed on SmackDown and those brawls that have been ignited, they've never met one-on-one in the confines of a matchup. Certainly the stakes couldn't be higher than ever, and then the Women's World Championship on the line. Iyo Sky, pair of knees off the middle rope. And Jordynne only a 1 count that time. Big kick out by the challenger. Jordynne Grace knows that championship opportunities don't come around every day, and she did what she had to do to get here tonight to Perth, Western Australia. And on the road to WrestleMania, she is not looking to see defeat. One of two things is going to happen here. Either Iyo Sky's 344-day championship reign is going to live on, and she is going to head back to the dance where it all started last year, still the Women's World Champion, or Jordynne Grace, the challenger, is going to leave here, the new Women's World Champion, and walk into what would be both her and Julia's first WrestleMania in a clash for the Women's World title. We saw Iyo Sky try to rev up the pace. There's Jordynne Grace using her power to ragdoll Iyo Sky out of the ground. Iyo Sky looking a little bit loopy there. She gets sent to the outside. Now what's Jordynne got in mind? Look at Jordynne picking up the pace. Pair of boots through the ropes into the outside. Well, Jordynne Grace showing that she's willing to do anything she's got to do. Dig deep down in her bag of tricks to get the job done against the genius of the Sky tonight. Jordynne's been waiting for months for this opportunity, and she's looking to make the most of it. Just ragdolling, as we previously mentioned, Iyo Sky, first in the ring and now outside of it. Iyo Sky has been the underdog in championship defenses over the last year. Dare I say she may be in that position again tonight, but will she be able to overcome the odds, or has her luck simply ran out? Jordynne using her surroundings to her advantage, now sending Iyo Sky back inside of the ring. Just like that Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup earlier on, Jordynne, the challenger, has got to get the job done inside of the confines of the ropes if she wants to leave here the champion. Powerful STO, knocking Iyo off her feet, nearly had a new champion, a second away from Jordynne being crowned. Jordynne Grace knows what it's like to hold championship gold. She's a former TNA Knockouts champion, looking for her first championship and part of the WWE now. Deadlifted Iyo Sky off the canvas into the running power slam. Iyo surviving again, but a couple of more shots like that, this thing is going to be all undone. Jordynne Grace certainly confident in herself and certainly proud of her handiwork as of late. As Iyo Sky, another reversal there. Goes for the knee, gets the powerhouse off her feet. Iyo now rolling up Jordynne, trying to sneak away with a victory, not just yet. Iyo Sky trying to strike while she had the opportunity. Jordynne gonna pump the brakes, and a big time Mark Henry-like world's strongest slam. Shout out to the Hall of Famer, Jordynne Grace, the powerhouse, picking apart the genius of the Sky. She certainly fits the bill of the Women's World Champion. Will she make history tonight? That is the question. May not like the attitude of Jordynne, you may not agree with her actions over the last few months, but nobody's gonna deny that she is no doubt a main event star, main event player, all the tools to be a champion. Just as Iyo Sky is, it's why she's the champion today, and look at this. You want to talk about some classic superstars in WWE history? Iyo Sky taking a page out of Tajiri's old book with a tarantula. I didn't get all that enziguri. As a matter of fact, she might have hit the shin of Jordynne, accidentally hurt herself. Jordynne trying to take advantage of a rare misstep out of Iyo Sky. Wanted to cover that time. Iyo now looking to regroup. Pop-up Meteora. Great recovery by the Women's World Champion. And now Iyo Sky perched on top, where she is certainly most comfortable. Jordynne on spaghetti legs. Iyo Sky setting sail here in Perth, Western Australia. Spiking Jordynne on her crown. This one's not over yet. Jordynne Grace kicking out ever emphatically. Goes to show you the toughness of the challenger. Any normal woman getting dropped on the spike of her head with that DDT by Iyo Sky would have been out for the count. Jordynne Grace, like her or not, tough as they come, and Iyo Sky realizes that, and that's why she's keeping her foot on the gas. Winner of this matchup defends the Women's World Championship at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania, against the beautiful Madness Julia, your 2026 Royal Rumble match winner. Another Shohei uppercut by Iyo Sky. Oh, Jordynne Grace kipping up that time. Iyo trying to fend her off, but Jordynne Grace grabbing Iyo Sky and dragging her right into the lion's den. That is a scary sight as the challenger hell-bent on destruction. Iyo Sky now whipped into the far corner. Jordynne Grace closing the gap. Oh no. Reverse Alabama Slammer. Iyo Sky eating the canvas for Sunday night dinner. And now Jordynne Grace has got Iyo Sky in an opportune state. Champion to win the Women's World Title. Not just yet, Iyo Sky once again finding a way to kick out. Well, Jordynne shouldn't be surprised. She's just got to keep fighting here. There's a reason Iyo's been champion for the last 344 days. It's because of her guts. It's because of her resilience. Just because Iyo Sky is surviving doesn't mean she's thriving. Jordynne Grace keeps her foot on the gas pedal and continues this assault. I got no doubt that she'll be leaving here the new Women's World Champion. Iyo Sky down on the canvas again. Jordynne Grace flexing her muscles. Crowd is all hell of her handiwork. Tell you what, Jordynne Grace wouldn't have been targeting Iyo Sky the last couple of months if she wasn't confident she could get the job done. Iyo Sky lighting up Jordynne. Iyo Sky from the land of the rising sun. They built some of the toughest strikers over there. Jordynne Grace finding that out firsthand. Uh-oh, now Jordynne Grace might be counting sheep at the giving moment because of those strikes by Iyo. Jordynne on top. Iyo gonna meet her up there. Oh my goodness, a big time avalanche neck breaker from the top. Iyo not afraid to fly, forcing Jordynne to do so that time. The challenger in the corner, knocked down to size, bullet train attack by Iyo. Iyo Sky with Jordynne in the drop zone, up on top, over the moonsault. Iyo strikes, Iyo covers, and Iyo retains. 344 days and counting. A hell of an effort by Jordynne Grace. Like how she got here or not, like her attitude or not, she gave Iyo Sky a run for her money in this Women's World Championship matchup. The Juggernaut, a hell of a lot of promise in that young woman's future. Future main event star, future champion, no doubt about it. But Iyo Sky, one of the best that this industry has to offer right now, and she just proved why all over again.
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Women's World Champion, Iyo Sky.
A huge victory for Iyo Sky. And now we know, last year at WrestleMania, Iyo Sky won the Women's World Title. This year at WrestleMania, she defends the Women's World Title. Officially signed for Las Vegas, Nevada, Iyo Sky, the Women's World Champion, defends her crown against the Women's United States Champion and Royal Rumble match winner, Julia. And that is, of course, not the only WrestleMania affair that has been signed on already tonight. We saw earlier on Seth freaking Rollins winning the Elimination Chamber. He's got a hell of a lot of history with Damian Priest going back to 2024 and the first part of last year. They will write another chapter of their ever-growing story at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. But before the grandest stage of them all, Damian Priest has got matters to attend to here tonight. Coming up next, Priest alongside the Usos battle the WWE Tag Team Champions Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and a partner to be determined in moments in a massive six-man tag team matchup. All these combustible elements bound to explode, just as they did moments after the Usos became #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team titles last month. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus made it their mission to send a message to the new #1 contenders, wiping them out after an instant classic against the Motor City Machine Guns. McIntyre and Sheamus sending a message to their next challengers in the Usos. Of course, 2 weeks later, Drew McIntyre owed a World Heavyweight Championship matchup after pinning Damian Priest in a tag team affair a couple of weeks prior. It seemed as if McIntyre and Sheamus had Damian Priest outnumbered, and as if Drew McIntyre was about to leave SmackDown that night a double champion, WWE Tag Team Champion, and World Heavyweight Champion. But Damian Priest not only survived the numbers, but had a little bit of an assist for the #1 contenders to the tag team titles. Jey Uso and Sheamus battling at the top of the stage. Jimmy Uso hitting ringside, cutting Drew McIntyre in half with a spear behind the referee's back. Damian Priest able to take advantage of the chaos and avalanche south of heaven that not only defeated Drew McIntyre, but had him blow a gasket a week later on SmackDown. McIntyre and the main event Jey Uso coming to blows on Thursday night. Damian Priest getting involved a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown as well. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest taking the ring, all the while Sheamus and Jimmy Uso were going at it in the backstage area, and the Celtic Warrior alongside the Scottish Warrior sending a message to their opponents here tonight at the Elimination Chamber. McIntyre and Sheamus to be accompanied by a partner. They're going up against the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team titles and your current reigning World Heavyweight Champion. Some of the absolute best that Thursday Night SmackDown has to offer. All coming together in this massive 6-man tag team matchup in front of 50,000 strong in Optus Stadium.
The following is a 6-man tag team match. And at a combined weight of 493 pounds, Jimmy and Jade, the Usos.
You know, one of the questions amidst the WWE Universe over the last couple of weeks since this matchup was announced was, would the Usos and Damian Priest be able to coexist? Sure, they're brought together through common enemies, and sure, the Usos, inadvertent or not, assisted Priest in retaining the championship a couple of weeks ago, but there's a lot of bad blood between these three men. Jey and Damian coming face-to-face on SmackDown a few nights ago, seemingly burying the hatchet ahead of the Elimination Chamber. Well, as Jey Uso said, all that bad blood is in the past, and all the focus is on the here, on the now, in Perth, Western Australia. Common enemies bring together this massive trio as Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest are in search of a victory here tonight at Elimination Chamber.
And their partner from New York City, weighing in at 249 pounds, the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest.
You gotta wonder what's going through the mind of Damian Priest, knowing that no matter what happens tonight, an old foe is waiting for him at the grandest stage of them all. Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, many a battles in their past. Now at WrestleMania, they write another chapter to their storied history over the gold that is in the grasp of Damian. The World Heavyweight title will be on the line in Las Vegas. But tonight, Damian Priest walks into battle with two men who have been a thorn in his side since the month of December on SmackDown. Damian Priest looks to right some recent wrongs, take care of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus once and for all, and clear his slate on the road to WrestleMania, where El Campeon awaits the visionary. The Kingpin of SmackDown, the Punishment, your World Heavyweight Champion, in front of 50,000 strong, exactly where he belongs. Well, it certainly looks like a formidable trio inside of the ring. But approaching the squared circle is one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, and a couple of weeks ago was mere moments away from capturing the Heavyweight Championship of the world.
And from Ayr, Scotland, weighing in at 254 pounds, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre.
Well, we heard from the Scottish Warrior a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, who said Damian Priest was the luckiest man alive. Of course, the Usos intervening in that matchup, as you saw moments ago, taking care of Sheamus, Jimmy cutting Drew in half with a spear behind referee Charles Robinson's back, and the Usos assisting the punishment in retaining his championship over Drew McIntyre on that night. Drew McIntyre looking for an ounce of revenge here in Perth, Australia. You know, last year, McIntyre walked into WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. And as a matter of fact, he has been a part of the World Heavyweight Championship matchup at WrestleMania for the last 3 years. This year will, of course, be much different. But McIntyre, at least tonight, can get a little bit of retribution in the midst of this six-man tag team matchup and certainly shake the confidence of the Usos, who are still owed a tag team title opportunity. Well, here comes a man who's got to be pissed off after the events of SmackDown 3 nights ago. Coming up short to old Big Jimmy Uso, the Celtic Warrior, is here for a fight.
And from Dublin, Ireland, weighing in at 267 pounds, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus!
Well, we were talking about Iyo Sky's 344-day Women's World Championship reign moments ago. What about the WWE Tag Team Championship reign of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus? They have held those titles since May 31st of last year at Clash at the Castle. But the question is tonight, with those titles not on the line, who did McIntyre and Sheamus recruit to be their partner in this six-man tag team warfare? Oh my! Well, for the first time since Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell, the Prince has returned here in Perth.
And representing the Judgment Day, from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, weighing in at 190 pounds, Finn Balor.
We have not seen Finn Balor since he was sent off the top of Hell in a Cell, sent south of heaven by Damian Priest, losing the World Heavyweight Championship in the process back at Bad Blood in the fall. Balor has been gone for months, left in the back of people's mind as he was said to be out indefinitely with injury. But just in time on the road to WrestleMania, Finn Balor is back. And this has got to be about the last thing that Damian Priest, as well as the Usos, who got a hell of a lot of history with Balor as well, were expecting here tonight. Oh man, well the ante has been up, ladies and gentlemen. So many wrinkles just got added to this story. Six-man tag team matchup. We knew McIntyre and Sheamus needed a partner. And whether they did the recruiting or Balor came to them, this matchup, has become a whole different playing field than just moments ago. Well, nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, Finn Balor's back. He's the mystery man in this six-man tag, which is now underway. McIntyre and Uso kicking things off. Well, we gotta set the stage here, ladies and gentlemen. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. All three of these men, so much history with Finn Balor, just going back to last year alone. But Finn Balor is back. He's on the apron. He's on the corner of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus tonight in this huge six-man tag team matchup here in Perth, Western Australia at the Elimination Chamber. Well, who knows what's going on in the mind of the Usos and Damian Priest as they look across the ring at one of their greatest rivals. And for Damian Priest, his ex-best friend, his old tag team partner, a man he went to war with last year, especially inside the Hell in a Cell match that we previously mentioned. Well, the Usos and Priest got to think on their feet, got to put together the game plan, which they knew they were going to have to do ultimately. I just don't think they were expecting Finn Balor, of all people, to be in the corner of the tag team champions tonight. Well, nevertheless, Big Jimmy Uso, now your legal competitor against one half of the tag team champions, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre here. The 6 All-Stars from SmackDown meeting this combustible 6-man tag team matchup here. And McIntyre making the tag to the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. International flair for Sheamus and company on their side. Sheamus looking to get back at Jimmy Uso after Jimmy scored that huge victory over the Celtic Warrior this past Thursday night on SmackDown. Again, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, your current WWE Tag Team Champions, and we know that regardless of what happens tonight, the Usos are owed a shot at the gold. Sheamus going for the early cover on Jimmy Uso, forcing him to extend some energy with that kick out. Jay and Jimmy Uso making it through 3 rounds of a #1 contenders tournament, ultimately defeating the Motor City Machine Guns on the SmackDown prior to the Royal Rumble to be crowned #1 contenders. This is really where the bad blood between themselves, McIntyre and Sheamus, started to develop. It almost seems that it's about more than just the tag team titles. It's about retribution for the embarrassment and the ruined celebration on that night. Jimmy Uso taking the fight to Sheamus. Slide neckbreaker moments ago. Pop-up Samoan drop by Big Jim. Jimmy Uso starting to feel it here in the Elimination Chamber. Sheamus back on his feet. Oh man, well Jimmy Uso saying, you know what? And Sheamus, wait a minute here. Well, let's set the stage. Priest is in, Balor's in. And for the first time since Hell in a Cell, these 2 men are going at it. Well, Damian Priest had to think that his story, his rivalry with Finn Balor was all in behind him. But Balor's back for the first time in months here tonight and is taking the fight to the man who took away his World Heavyweight Championship several months ago. Damian Priest certainly cannot be focused on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania right now. He's got to focus on Finn Balor, who is looking to put the hurt on the punishment. You gotta believe Balor's coming back, motivated and with purpose. Wouldn't have decided to be the partner for McIntyre and Sheamus, wouldn't have agreed upon it if he wasn't itching to get back into the ring with Damian Priest of all people. Finn Balor on the middle rope here and taking the fight to El Campeon. Oh! Balor wanted the cheap shot. On main event, Jey Uso. Those 2 men with a lot of battles going back to last summer on SmackDown. And Jimmy Uso getting knocked down to size. Balor left himself wide open, however. Damian Priest bringing the fight to the former World Heavyweight Champion. I'll tell you what, for the better part of 2025, it was Damian Priest chasing Finn Balor. Now it seems like it's Finn Balor who's coming to get some of Damian Priest here tonight. Right now, it's the punishment. Stomping a mud hole in the Prince. Of course, Finn Balor's partner, member of the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, retaining his Cruiserweight Championship on the Elimination Chamber kickoff show. Finn Balor now looking to continue a good night for the Judgment Day. Unfortunately for him, he's in the waiting arms of Damian Priest, who's got no problem letting loose against a man who caused him so much pain and punishment. Big Pele kick to Balor. Tag made to Drew McIntyre. Just as much as Balor, I'm sure, wants to pick apart Damian Priest, the same to be said about the man who nearly defeated Priest a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown for the world's title. McIntyre nearly secured his spot in his 4th straight WrestleMania main event for a world title. In McIntyre's mind believes he would have done so if it weren't for Jay and Jimmy Uso. Here's Damian Priest, picking up where he left off in the final moments of that matchup. And hold on here, Priest grabbing a hold of the illegal competitor and Finn Balor, but Damian cannot afford that. Well, Priest cannot allow old emotions to rear their ugly head tonight. He has got to focus on the task at hand, which is just getting the victory in this 6-man tag. You get the victory, Balor, McIntyre, and Sheamus got no leg to stand on in terms of trying to take away your spot at the top of SmackDown. Priest left himself wide open for that. Went after Balor and Drew McIntyre, just assaulting El Campeon. Now a tag made to Sheamus, who has dropped Priest in the past with a bro kick on SmackDown. I'm sure Priest would love to return the favor with a South of Heaven tonight. There's Damian lighting up the Celtic Warrior, knocking the Celtic Warrior off his feet. Much needed tag from my estimation to main event Jey Uso, who comes in a house of fire. Might need the smelling salts to wake up Sheamus into that boot. Jay and Jimmy have not forgotten about that attack on SmackDown a month ago. Certainly Jimmy not forgiving the Celtic Warrior for that ambush 2 weeks ago backstage on SmackDown. Sheamus set into his corner, but unfortunately not the way he would have wanted to. Spike drop kick by Jay, and Sheamus gonna make the tag to Drew McIntyre. We're back where we started. Main event Jey Uso. And that big, pissed off Scotsman. Jay with a super kick. McIntyre just cleaned his clock and now goes for a cheap shot on McIntyre. I should say a cheap shot on Damian. Oh, now gonna turn his sights to Big Jim. Jay goes after Sheamus. The referee Chad Patton certainly has his hands full here. We've called all these men combustible elements for a reason, bound to explode. Glasgow kiss by the Scotsman, who nearly puts this matchup away. And I'll tell you what, if there weren't 5 combustible elements before, with the addition of Finn Balor, as we mentioned when he started making his way down the aisle, the ante upped in this 6-man tag team matchup. Balor just letting loose on Jay. Finn Balor, during his World Championship reign, made his very first defense of the gold against main event Jey Uso. Defeated Jey Uso on that night several months ago after SummerSlam. And Balor looking for victory again against one of the Usos. And Damian Priest not going to allow it. Priest breaking up the count. Priest with a score to settle. Oh, hold on here. Balor knocking the World Heavyweight Champion off the apron. It's as if Damian Priest just went south to heaven that time with that fall. Well, Finn Balor made a mistake turning his back on the Usos. They've been hitting their groove as a tag team in recent months, once more for a reason. Tag made to Big Jim, who's gearing up for a little Uso special in the corner. And now Jimmy starting to unload. No remorse, no forgiveness. Taking the fight to Finn Balor. Jimmy Uso on top of the world. Balor in the drop zone. We got an Uso whisper in the wind. Finn Balor now being brought back to his feet by Big Jim. And I'm sure if the Usos and Priest had their way, they'd all just line up, take shot after shot after shot. You know, the Usos might have buried the hatchet with Damian Priest, who has shown his true colors. He's really become a changed man over the last year, but Finn Balor has not changed at all. If anything, he's gotten worse since all of his encounters with the Usos going back to 2024 on Monday Night Raw. Sheamus now tagged in. I'm sure would love nothing more than to bro kick Jimmy's teeth out of his mouth after the events of SmackDown on Thursday night. Oh, now look at Sheamus with the Alabama Slammer reverse style. Jimmy Uso came in, House of Fire. Big whisper in the wind. Unfortunately, he might have got caught. Momentum halted. Sheamus now with Jimmy in position. Little white noise set across off this stadium. Jimmy Uso with a last-second kick out. Never discount the Usos. This is the resilience that we saw throughout the #1 Contenders tournament. There's a reason Jay and Jimmy are owed a tag team title matchup. And there's a reason McIntyre and Sheamus have taken the fight to the Usos in recent weeks. Because they know that Jay and Jimmy just might be a threat. McIntyre tagged in. McIntyre, I'm sure looking for something powerful, something devastating. Jimmy Uso looks to avoid. Super kick, making a dose. Everybody pulling out their best. It's Sheamus now the one, ensuring that a 3 count isn't to be had. The Usos looking to send a message to McIntyre and Sheamus. Could certainly shake their confidence ahead of a future tag team title matchup. Tag made to Jay. Uh-oh. 1D. Main event Jay now into the cover. And now it's Finn Balor breaking things up. Everybody pulling out the aces up their sleeves. Jay taking the fight to Sheamus, taking the fight to Finn. Both men go down. Claymore! Jay gets caught. McIntyre going for the kill. Jimmy with the save. Oh, this thing is getting chaotic. McIntyre, Sheamus, Balor versus Jay, Jimmy, Priest in front of 50,000 strong. Jey Uso just ate a Claymore, and this thing was all and over with if it weren't for old Big Jim breaking things up. Tag made to Finn Balor once more. Jey Uso now backed into a corner, and Jey Uso's going to be getting flashbacks to all of his prior encounters with Finn Balor. Many wars between these two men, not only in tag team action, but in singles as well. Finn and Jay writing a couple chapters of their story last year. Jey Uso right back in the line of fire. One of his greatest rivals, but he drops the Prince that time. And he made the most of it. Jey Uso now. Up goes Finn and down he goes. And a tag made once more to the heavyweight champion of the world, Damian Priest, who could certainly get one more final laugh, final bow in his ever-growing story with Finn Balor if he can send himself to heaven once again upon his return to the ring. Balor sent to the table. Priest taking the fight to Sheamus as well. Priest got no love lost for anybody on the opposite side of the ring. That's for damn sure. Balor sent back inside of the ring. Priest no doubt going to be looking for an emphatic victory here in this massive 6-man tag team bout. Priest hitting the ropes and a clothesline that nearly sent Finn Balor out of those Nike checks. And a close call here in Western Australia. But much to the chagrin of this Perth audience, Balor pops the shoulder. Damian Priest bringing Balor back to his feet. He's familiar with the guts of Finn Balor. They went through wars at SummerSlam as well as Bad Blood last year. Oh, hang on here. Far side of your screen. McIntyre and Sheamus going after the Usos on the outside of the ring. Both men going for rides, courtesy the tag team champions. Meanwhile, inside of the ring, Balor looking for the kill shot. Well, McIntyre and Sheamus trying to neutralize their adversaries. Balor with a high knee right across the throat of Damian Priest. Trying to crush the windpipe of this man and continuing this assault. The Usos and the tag team champions coming to blows. All the while, Balor delivers a coup de grace to the world champion. Jey Uso, a hair too late, and Balor has secured the victory. Oh my goodness. All I can say coming out of this is how are the Usos' confidence going to be feeling when they head into their owed tag team championship matchup against McIntyre and Sheamus, whatever that may be. And what about Damian Priest? He's got Seth Rollins to worry about at WrestleMania, but could not have been expecting the return of Finn Balor here tonight, who with the assistance of the tag team champions, not only defeated two old rivals in Jay and Jimmy Uso, but just pinned the shoulders of your World Heavyweight Champion in the punishment Damian Priest. Anything can happen on the road to WrestleMania.
Here are your winners. The team of Drew McIntyre, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, and Finn Balor.
Well, all we can say is that SmackDown is going to be must-see this coming week. WWE Tag Team Champions Drew McIntyre and Sheamus certainly recruited well. Finn Balor returns for the first time in months, takes the fight to his old rival in Damian Priest, and pins the shoulders of the World Heavyweight Champion.
In case you've been living under a rock, WWE is on fire right now.
Professional wrestling is electrifying once again.
And next year, we're bringing the show of shows to Las Vegas. WrestleMania in the entertainment capital of the world. Only question is, are you ready?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the road to WrestleMania always full of unexpected twists and turns. What a night it has been thus far. And for the 50,000 plus here at Optus Stadium in Perth, the capital city of Western Australia, this has been the Elimination Chamber, and we still got more action to come right here and right now. Who will challenge Roxanne Perez for the WWE Women's Championship in Las Vegas? We are set to find out as 6 women representing Raw and SmackDown will enter the confines of the Elimination Chamber. It was Seth Rollins who won the men's affair earlier on tonight. He will challenge for the heavyweight championship of the world at WrestleMania. Now it's the women's turn. Now it's time to find out who will meet the prodigy, Roxanne Perez, for her respective gold at the grandest stage of them all. One half of the women's tag team champions, the man, Becky Lynch. Very familiar with challenging for gold at the grandest stage of them all. Will she do it again in Las Vegas, Nevada? The man, the first to enter the pods here at Perth. And here comes the woman who defeated the man this past Thursday night.
And her opponents, first, representing the Judgment Day from Elmwood Park, New Jersey, Liv Morgan.
Well, I hate to admit it, but it's been a hell of a night for the Judgment Day thus far. Liv Morgan's boyfriend, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, retaining his Cruiserweight Championship of the World on the Elimination Chamber kickoff show. And of course, moments ago, the head of the Judgment Day, the Prince Finn Balor, returning for the first time in months on the winning side of that 6-man tag team matchup. Well, now a former WWE Women's Champion in her own right, and most recently a former Women's United States Champion, Liv Morgan, looks to enter the Elimination Chamber once more, but this time in search of victory, in search of a spot at WrestleMania.
A storm is coming.
Well, here comes a woman with one bad attitude. The woman who turned her back on her tag team partner, Bianca Belair, this past Monday night on Raw. Perth, Australia, the Storm has arrived.
And from Orlando, Florida, Jade Cargill.
You know, over the last couple of months, Jade Cargill has been doing all she can to secure some solo opportunities on the Red brand. And granted, she has found herself in some of those opportunities to kick down the door and move up the ladder on Monday nights. One woman who hasn't been taking so kindly to Cargill's new attitude was her longtime tag team partner in Bianca Belair. Bianca had put a stop a couple of times to Cargill's actions, attacking opponents inside and outside of the squared circle. This past Monday night on Raw, Cargill had enough of Bianca standing in her way, dropping the EST in the middle of the ring. And I'm sure in Jade Cargill's mind, shedding skin ahead of this Elimination Chamber matchup, where she looks to take the next step in her young career. Well, this woman certainly has a bone to pick with Cargill as well after the events of Raw this past Monday night. SmackDown representative Bayley is on the scene.
And from San Jose, California, Bayley.
Well, Bayley has competed inside the Elimination Chamber before, but it has been some odd years since Bayley found herself on the WrestleMania marquee. Bayley has promised that 2026 is the year that she turns it all around. She reminds the world why she is an original four-horsewoman of this industry, why she is a veteran of the game, and why she is a former WWE Women's Champion in her own right. Bayley looking to get back to the dance, looking to get back to the main event scene where she feels she belongs. She's got a spot inside the Elimination Chamber. The question is, can she make the most of it? Defeated by Cargill this past Monday night on Raw, ambushed after the match by Jade as well. Bayley with some bad blood heading into this Elimination Chamber contest. And speaking of the WWE Women's Championship, this is the woman who walked into last year's WrestleMania holding that very gold. Now she looks to head back to the grandest stage of them all to challenge for the championship once more. Will it be Tiffy time at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, Nevada?
And from Prior Lake, Minnesota, Tiffany
Well, we talked about it earlier tonight. Tiffany Stratton had a bit of an assist qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. And that victory over the Intercontinental Champion Stephanie McIntyre thanks to Nia Jax. But if Tiffany's going to go to WrestleMania, she's going to have to get the job done alone as she starts off the Elimination Chamber. And by process of elimination, we know exactly who Tiffy is going to kick off what should be an unforgiving war of attrition with here in Australia. Perth, Australia, Mommy has come home. And Rhea Ripley looking to get back to the dance where she won the Women's Championship last year at WrestleMania.
And from Adelaide, South Australia, Rhea Ripley.
You are looking at the 2025 Royal Rumble match winner, the woman who defeated Tiffany Stratton last year in Philadelphia at WrestleMania to win the title. Rhea won that championship from Lyra Valkyria once more a couple of months ago at Bad Blood, held it for mere moments until Roxanne Perez had cashed in the Money in the Bank on her. Dare I say, unfinished business between Perez and that woman, Rhea Ripley. Rhea with a chance to get back into the ring with the Prodigy if she can survive the Elimination Chamber. Certainly the fan favorite as Rhea Ripley, the woman from Adelaide, returns here to Australia, her homeland tonight. Staring eye to eye with the other 5 women contained inside of this structure with the Nightmare. Who's going to WrestleMania? We begin to find out right now as WrestleMania opponents from last year kick off the Women's Elimination Chamber. Roxanne Perez, I'm sure, has got her eyes on this matchup. We heard from the Prodigy this past Monday night on Raw. Very confident is the champion. Says it doesn't matter who wins the Elimination Chamber tonight. They are simply just going to be a stepping stone in Roxanne's growing legacy come WrestleMania. I'm sure all 6 of these women would have a rebuttal to that, and they'll have their opportunity to make it if they can win the Elimination Chamber. So the victor goes the spoils of this type of matchup. Seth Rollins winning it all earlier tonight. No matter what, he's getting Damian Priest for the world title at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley, as she takes Tiffany Stratton off her feet, looking to be the last woman standing here tonight. The same rules apply as earlier on. Superstar is going to be coming fast and coming strong. Who's joining the Women's Elimination Chamber matchup? And it looks like it's going to be SmackDown's Bayley, who defeated her close friend in Naomi, who's been showing some signs of frustration as of late. This big-time loss is really starting to stack up for the Glow on SmackDown, but I want to talk about the victors. Going the spoils. Bayley knows all about it. She qualified for the Elimination Chamber, and now she looks to make the most of this opportunity. Bayley, Rhea Ripley, great matchup going back to Money in the Bank 2024 over the WWE Women's Championship. Both Tiffany and Bayley have fallen to Rhea Ripley during Rhea's growing legacy, but neither of them looking for the same result tonight. Tiffany Stratton able to counter Bayley that time. The buff Barbie looking to prove once again why she is the center of the universe. Who's joining the party here in Perth, Australia? And it will be one half of the tag team champions, the man, Becky Lynch. Of course, the other half of the champions, the Queen Charlotte Flair, turned away by Jade Cargill in that Elimination Chamber qualifier a couple of weeks ago. But Bayley, however, or I should say Becky, however, qualifying for tonight's event. Bayley taken out. Rhea Ripley is centered to the outskirts. Becky Lynch focusing on Tiffany Stratton. All the while Bayley scaling the side of the chamber. Crossbody takes Rhea Ripley off her feet. If that doesn't show you that Bayley, and I'm sure the same can be said about the rest of the women in this matchup, will they do anything they gotta do from tossing into the win if it means qualifying to be the #1 contender for the women's title on the grandest stage. Just as it was earlier tonight, a lot of action to call. Who's coming out next? It will be Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, who entered the Elimination Chamber last year, eliminated every single person besides one. If Liv Morgan can do one better than last year's Elimination Chamber, then she will do what she failed to do 12 months ago, and that's win the event and go on to WrestleMania. Liv knows what it's like to be inside the Elimination Chamber. My goodness, taking out Tiffany, nearly eliminated her. I'll watch Bayley stack it up Becky. Hey, a lot of close calls already. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, great rivalry going back to 2024 as well. As a matter of fact, Liv Morgan defeated Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 2 years ago to win the women's title. A lot of history between all 6 women in this matchup as we await the final participant, Jade Cargill, going to escape from her pod in moments. As pissed off as Jade Cargill has been as of late, as motivated as she's been, Jade Cargill coming out last here may just be the odds-on favorite. Rhea and Tiffany Stratton been in a couple of minutes at this point. Fatigue going to start to set in a hell of a lot sooner in a match like this. Bayley to belly to Becky. And Becky Lynch nearly eliminated. And 2 of the 4 horsewomen in the history of the Women's Revolution going at it. Bayley now with a rose plant to Becky Lynch. Will that be all she wrote for the man? No, it's not. One half of the women's tag team champions driven tonight. Man, what a contest this far as Jade Cargill going at the Rhea inside of the ring. Liv Morgan scaling the chamber, and I think she thought Tiffany Stratton might have been following. Liv Morgan wisely electing to get down before disaster could be afoot. Bayley and Jade in this matchup. Again, it was Jade Cargill who defeated Bayley this past Monday night on Raw. Continued to beat her down after the matchup until Bianca had arrived, and then, of course, Jade Cargill turning her back on the EST as well. Liv Morgan, big victory over Becky Lynch 3 nights ago on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley with a lot of recent history with Roxanne Perez. Bayley, who may be the dark horse in this matchup. Any women's ball game inside of the Elimination Chambers, we get to see a casualty in this contest. And look at Rhea and Stratton still going at it. Those two women, one of the best matches of last year from my estimation. WrestleMania last year, where Rhea would defeat Tiffany Stratton to win the women's title. Walking back up here again in Perth, Western Australia on Rhea's home soil. Unfortunately, having the home field advantage doesn't guarantee you victory. We saw what happened to the Auszilla, Big Bronson Reed earlier tonight, eliminated by the phenomenal AJ Styles. Bayley hoisted on top inside of the ring. Liv Morgan in hot pursuit. Pair of knees. The role model goes down. Liv Morgan far from done. Oh, wait a minute. Oblivion on Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany never saw it coming. Elimination incoming, not just yet. Stratton still alive. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch looking to eliminate Cargill on the outside of the ring, not just yet. You remember Becky and Charlotte defeated Cargill and Bianca all the way back to Bash in Berlin at the beginning of the fall to win the women's tag team titles that they've held ever since. Liv! Oblivion to Bayley. Referee Daphne LaShawn right there. There she goes. Well, we called Bayley the dark horse of this matchup. Unfortunately, tonight will not be the night Bayley starts to resurface in the main event picture. Liv Morgan eliminating Bayley. Bayley the first casualty. Meanwhile, Becky, manhandle slam. A lot of history between Becky and Liv as of late. And some more.
Morgan has been eliminated.
Well, that is going to be oh so satisfying for the man. Liv and Raquel Rodriguez, of course, been targeting Becky and Charlotte for last month and change across both brands as Becky Lynch, a house of fire inside, and I guess outside of that ring right now. Liv, of course, defeated Becky this past Thursday night on SmackDown. Becky now eliminating Liv Morgan from this Elimination Chamber matchup. Well, all of a sudden, we are down to 4. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Becky Lynch, and Rhea Ripley. One of these 4 women are going to WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton, Alabama Slammer. Becky able to kick out. A lot of big survivals by the man in this matchup. Becky Lynch eating some of the locker room's best. She is the veteran here. Rhea Ripley taking care of Stratton. Cargill and Rhea now dead center of the ring. So a one-on-one match I would love to see in the future. Cargill now looks for the elimination over Australia's own Rhea Ripley with a lot of heart and a lot of fight left. Just as we said earlier tonight, it is anybody's ball game inside the unpredictable nature of an Elimination Chamber matchup. Tiffany Stratton taking Rhea. Oof. As we mentioned, Tiffany Stratton taking Rhea Ripley to the far side. I believe Cargill chucked Becky right into the steel post. As now Stratton taking the fight to Cargill inside of the ring. Tiffany Stratton's been in the ring with Jade before. Looking for the elimination here. Standing moonsault. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley going at it. You see the fatigue of this matchup written all over these women. Rhea Ripley now going after Cargill. who may be public enemy number one in this matchup. We talked about it earlier. If anybody's got an attitude, if anybody's more motivated, it's got to be Cargill. Becky turning her back to the Nightmare, which is something you never want to do. Rhea Ripley now. Electric chair position, and down goes one half of the tag team champions. Cargill's wiped out. Stratton surveying the scene. Rhea Ripley with a riptide on Becky Lynch. Far side of the ring, while Stratton and Cargill focus on one another, Rhea goes for the cover of the man.
Becky Lynch has been eliminated.
Rhea Ripley catches a casualty. One half of the women's tag team champions eliminated, and we are down to 3 in this Elimination Chamber matchup. Tiffany Stratton, who is amongst the final 2 in the Rumble last month, I'm sure not looking to fall short again. But if Cargill's got anything to say about it, Stratton is going to be hitting the showers. Oh, meanwhile, Rhea taking advantage of the carnage. Riptide to Cargill. And Jade somehow able to kick. And Stratton sending Rhea right into the pod. Well, we mentioned it a moment ago before Jade went sore, and Tiffany Stratton was amidst the final 2, in the Royal Rumble matchup last month, ultimately eliminated by Julia. Julia winning the whole thing. Stratton not looking to be a runner-up again. On top of the pod, Zayn sail wipes out Cargill. And she's out of here.
Cargill has been eliminated.
Jade Cargill eliminated. Stratton soaring from the same pod that the phenomenal AJ Styles did earlier tonight. Tiffany Stratton eliminates Jade Cargill, and this matchup gonna come down to the 2 that started it, Stratton and Rhea. A lot of history between these 2 women dating back to last year's WrestleMania, and now they're back here on the road to WrestleMania, crossing paths again. Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, one of these 2 women are going back to the dance. The prodigy Roxanne Perez awaits the winner of this Elimination Chamber matchup, either Saturday night, March the 7th, or Sunday night, March the 8th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley know each other very well. Rhea scored 2 premium live event victories over Stratton last year. These women just surveying the scene, circling the squared circle here with anything they got left. Rhea sending Stratton right into the pod. Tiffany Stratton might need facial reconstruction surgery after that. Oh, look at the powerhouse, Australia's own. Unloading here. 2 clotheslines and a drop kick. Well, either way you spin it, these 2 women putting on a showcase tonight. They started this matchup. They're going to finish it. And Rhea wanted the headbutt, but Stratton met her with an uppercut and a clothesline that takes the Nightmare off her feet. This battle free to roam anywhere amongst the Elimination Chamber as Rhea now sent into the pod. We saw AJ Styles and Seth Rollins go to war for a number of minutes when it was just those 2 left inside of the chamber earlier tonight. And now it's Stratton and Rhea taking center stage. And if Stratton has her way, she is about to remind 50,000 strong here in Perth and millions around the world why she is the center of the universe. Rhea Ripley sent back inside of the ring. The Nightmare's down. Tiffany Stratton measuring the opponent. Out to become the #1 contender. Uh-oh, Rhea's going for a ride. Alabama slam by Stratton. And Rhea Ripley able to kick out. Stratton half a second away from punching her ticket to WrestleMania. And now Stratton on the top rope. What a splash! Rhea Ripley nowhere to be found. Stratton not afraid to take flight. Unfortunately for her, Rhea Ripley knows her game book. And Rhea now trying to topple Tiffany Stratton once more here in Perth, Western Australia. I am sure the WWE Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, eyes locked on this matchup, awaiting to see who will be her opponent at the grandest stage. She's been in the ring with Rhea Ripley before. Tiffany Stratton would be a very interesting contest. Those two women have teamed up in recent memory on Raw. Stratton sent to the far corner. Both of these women wearing the fatigue in this matchup all over their body language. Stratton able to counter out, sends Rhea back first. Into the buckles. Lighten up the Nightmare. Rhea putting the brakes on. Rhea with a shot. Tiffany Stratton going up. Electric chair. Face first she goes. And will it be Rhea going to WrestleMania? Not just yet. Stratton kicks again. These two women taking us right back to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia last year, where they met in a classic battle for the women's title. Reversal for reversal. Rhea grabs a hold. Standing switch by Stratton. It ain't over till it's over here at Perth. Rhea now sent to the corner once more. Tiffany Stratton able to survive that electric chair. Who's to say she can't survive anything else Rhea's got up her sleeve? Stratton now sent to the corner off the reversal. It's Rhea Ripley who's hustling up. Oh, wait a minute here. Stratton about to get flashbacks to last year's WrestleMania. Avalanche. Riptide by the Nightmare. Into the cover. Rhea Ripley is going back to the dance. Right here on her home soil of Australia. The Nightmare, Rhea Ripley, starts the Elimination Chamber matchup with Tiffany Stratton, finishes the matchup with Stratton as well. But only one woman can be the last one standing inside of the confines of the unforgiving Elimination Chamber structure. To the victor goes the spoils, and the victor will be the Nightmare. Rhea Ripley has punched her ticket. Rhea Ripley has qualified. Rhea has become #1 contender. Roxanne Perez has narrowly escaped the Nightmare in the past, but the ghost of Roxanne's past coming back to haunt her in Las Vegas at the Show of Shows.
Here is your winner, Rhea Ripley.
An incredible performance by all these women, especially Tiffany Stratton, who hung in there to the end with Rhea Ripley. But Rhea Ripley, who won the Women's Championship last year and has been a part of the Women's Championship matchup for the last 2 years at WrestleMania, now goes for a three-peat. She's heading back to the grandest stage, and Roxanne Perez awaits a meeting with the Nightmare. Can't get enough universe mode? PLE kickoff shows, live events, all exclusive to Noah Nation Gaming channel members. Hit the join button down below and gain access to more universe than ever before. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a hell of a night here in Perth, Western Australia, in the middle of Optus Stadium, in front of 50,000 strong at the Elimination Chamber. We are on the road to WrestleMania, Saturday night, March the 7th, Sunday night, March the 8th. And as we found out moments ago, the demon in Roxanne Perez's dreams is coming alive. And come the grandest stage of them all, Rhea Ripley has earned herself another go-around with the Prodigy. The WWE Women's Championship will indeed be on the line. Rhea Ripley heading back to the dance as she challenges Roxanne Perez for the WWE Women's Championship. Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, WrestleMania, already shaping up to be one hell of an event. But of course we know that the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble match winner, CM Punk, awaits the undisputed WWE Champion in the main event at WrestleMania. Who will be the champion? We find out coming up next. It is your main event from Perth, Western Australia. The undisputed WWE Championship is on the line. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes makes his very first defense of the gold against the High Chief, the final boss, The Rock. This story goes back months on Monday Night Raw. One of the most pivotal chapters happened back at the Survivor Series at the tail end of fall in Madison Square Garden. Cody Rhodes, of course, a part of Team Cena. Cena leading a team against the Bloodline. Cena, Cody, Rock, Roman, the final two. Cena would eliminate The Rock. One of the many reasons why Jacob Fatu said Cena had a debt to be paid here tonight. Roman Reigns, of course, eliminating John Cena. Cody Rhodes and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, your final two. Ultimately, is the American Nightmare who won it all for Team Cena. When you look back at Survivor Series, so much has stemmed out of that traditional Survivor Series matchup, such as the High Chief kicking the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns to the side. Of course, it was also the matchup where Cody Rhodes earned himself the right to be #1 contender for the WWE Championship in the eyes of John Cena. And after a war of attrition, an early match of the year candidate 4 weeks ago in Phoenix at the Royal Rumble, it was John Cena who failed to put down Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes who earned his right at the top of the mountain, defeating the Never-Seen 17 and becoming the new undisputed WWE Champion. Although Cody Rhodes had accomplished his lifelong dream, just as John Cena had debts to be paid, The Rock believed that Cody Rhodes still was yet to pay for his sins. The Rock stuck Solo Sikoa on Cody weeks ago on Raw. The Rock proclaimed that Cody and his days as WWE Champion were numbered. The Rock positioning himself to take away the championship from the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes here tonight. And of course, that emphatic message sent this past Monday Night on Raw as the WWE Champion was dropped by the hands of the man who could leave Perth, Australia in moments as the new champion, the final boss, The Rock.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. That is for the undisputed WWE Championship.
So much that has happened over the last 12 months on Monday Night Raw can be traced back to the hands of this man. The man who now calls himself the final boss, the High Chief of the Anoa'i family, The Rock, who is hell-bent on securing a bright future for his flesh and blood, and for securing ultimate power for his bloodline once more. The Rock tried to put Solo Sikoa in position to become the tribal chief of the bloodline. Solo failed to do so. The Rock would intervene, position Roman Reigns to bring back the WWE Championship to the bloodline. The OTC would fail to do so. The Rock let Roman Reigns lead the bloodline into battle. Back at Survivor Series, Roman would fail to secure victory. And ever since that night, as we said moments ago, that night at Survivor Series has had an aftershock that has lasted all the way till now at the Elimination Chamber. The Rock has kicked Roman Reigns to the side, even throwing Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu under the bus, two men who have done The Rock's dirty work for the last year when those two men failed to win the Royal Rumble matchup last month. But as The Rock has stated on Monday Night Raw, if the final boss wants something done right, the final boss will do it himself. The Rock has played the manipulation game, manipulating many of superstars in the Raw locker room, such as CM Punk, such as Seth Rollins, such as John Cena, such as Cody Rhodes. But he has also played the manipulation game of his own family. And ultimately, The Rock has done so to, as we mentioned, secure the Bloodline's power over this industry once again. Tonight, The Rock looks to take matters into his own hands. The WWE Championship, the richest prize this business has to offer. The Rock held the gold many a times in his day, but he is back here in 2026 to do it all over again and to secure the Bloodline's legacy forever. Standing in his way, the man who helped topple the Bloodline at Survivor Series. The Rock stated that Cody Rhodes is about to pay for his sins tonight at the Elimination Chamber. Will the final boss make good on that promise?
Wrestling has more than one.
The American Nightmare and your undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, makes the ring walk in front of 50,000 strong in Optus Stadium. Cody Rhodes won that championship 4 weeks ago at the Royal Rumble. Tonight he makes his first defense, and the stakes certainly could not be any higher for the American Nightmare. The Rock 10 times in his career has been a world champion. Cody Rhodes, a former world heavyweight champion, but for the first time is the undisputed WWE champion after a war of a lifetime and a victory that'll not be soon forgotten over John Cena 4 weeks ago in Phoenix. But Cody Rhodes has been put through the ringer the last couple of weeks on Raw. The attack from Solo Sikoa, a 6-man tag team battle that luckily he was on the winning side of. And of course, the events of this past Monday night on Raw, one-on-one with Fatu, Cody winning that matchup via disqualification when he was ambushed and laid out by Solo Sikoa. And of course, the attack by The Rock moments later. Cody, 100% or not, is here in Perth to put that title on the line. The winner of this matchup defends the title against CM Punk in Las Vegas at WrestleMania. Who is it gonna be? Who leaves the Elimination Chamber? The undisputed champion.
Introducing the challenger from Miami, Florida, weighing in at 265 pounds, The Rock! And his opponent from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 220 pounds, the undisputed WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
This is not the same Rock that returned to our screens on the Raw after SummerSlam last year. This is the final boss, and he hasn't given a damn who he hurts physically or verbally, whether it be his own blood or not. Standing in his way is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He's got no love lost for Cody, especially after Survivor Series a couple of months ago. The undisputed title's on the line. Who's going to WrestleMania? The bell has sounded. Your Elimination Chamber main event is underway in front of 50,000 members of the WWE Universe in Perth, Western Australia. The Rock, obviously, with the size and strength in his corner, but dare I say, Cody Rhodes, the more resilient of the two, at least based off his recent battle against John Cena at the Royal Rumble. Just as Cody Rhodes better be prepared for a war tonight, Cody has promised The Rock better be prepared for the same. The Rock 10 times throughout his career has been a world champion. WWE champion, WCW world champion, but The Rock is here tonight to make more history and finally, in his words, bring back the Undisputed title to the Anoa'i family. The Rock promises that the final boss will do it himself. Tried to position Roman to take away the title from John Cena a couple of months ago. Roman failed to do so. Wanted Solo or Jacob Fatu to win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania. They failed to do so. Seems as if the manipulation game from The Rock hasn't been enough to motivate his bloodline, and now The Rock finds himself trying to get the job done on his own. The Rock promised he was going to put the hurt on Cody tonight like Cody has never felt before. Those are the words of the great one this past Monday night on Raw. Cody Rhodes, as we mentioned, put through the ringer the last couple of weeks. On top of that, whatever The Rock's got in store for him tonight, by victory or by defeat, it is going to be a long flight back to the States for the American Nightmare, either way you spin it. The Rock been all over Cody since the opening bell here in Perth, just as The Rock, I'm sure, intended on it. There's Cody Rhodes fighting back, never give it up. Cody will not stop till he hears a bell. The Royal Rumble is the perfect example of it as Cody. A little action here for the American Nightmare, dishing out that bionic elbow to the High Chief. Cody Rhodes saying The Rock may be the hierarchy of the bloodline, but in this industry, Cody Rhodes holds the title. Cody Rhodes, the hierarchy of WWE. The Royal Rumble match winner CM Punk awaits the winner of this contest at WrestleMania. Punk would love nothing more than for that man to be Cody Rhodes, a man he has been amazing friends with in this industry for nearly 20 plus years. Punk would much rather have that competitive battle in the main event of WrestleMania than have to go one-on-one with The Rock. Unfortunately for Punk, he may be stuck fighting the Great One come Las Vegas, Nevada, unless the American Nightmare is able to keep down the final boss here tonight. Cody Rhodes turning the tables on The Rock thus far. The Rock is the aggressor coming out of the opening bell. Cody missing the knee wildly, and The Rock gonna run him over with that clothesline. The Rock returned to the ring back at Survivor Series. Disappointing outing for the Great One on that night. Maybe even more motivated to get the job done here tonight and certainly set an example for the rest of his family. So far tonight, the Bloodline has split the difference, Solo Sikoa coming up short in the men's Elimination Chamber matchup. Jacob Fatu, albeit with a little assistance from Braun Breaker, defeating John Cena earlier on here in Optus Stadium. Rock putting the hurt on Cody Rhodes on the outside, but now bringing Rhodes back inside of the ring, where he hopes to get the job done and leave here, the Undisputed Champion. Cody set to the ropes. Signature spine buster out of the arsenal of The Rock. Uh-oh. Rock wasting no time here, going for the kill, just as he did this past Monday night on Raw. Hitting the ropes, making a dose. People's elbow to win the Undisputed title. Not just yet, Cody Rhodes still alive. Rock can drive the elbow, or dare I say the dagger, straight into the heart of the American Nightmare, and it still may not be enough. Cody promised Rock better bring his best, just as Cody did against John Cena at the Rumble. Cody Rhodes, no doubt about it, earned his shot to become the WWE Champion, and he has earned his right to hold that gold. The Rock, on the other hand, positioned himself, anointed himself the #1 contender, didn't earn it, didn't prove himself worthy, simply gave himself this matchup against Cody Rhodes tonight. Oh, man. Well, The Rock headed to the outside. Cleared off the announce table here. Certainly with disaster in mind for Cody. But Rock gave Cody a moment of R&R. And Rhodes going to make him pay. Rock sent to the outside. Cody measuring his man. Cody putting on the balancing act on the top. And then the crossbody to the outside. Can't give Cody any room to breathe. John Cena found that out at the Royal Rumble. The Rock's being reminded of it tonight. Cody Rhodes at the last 2 premium live events has signed us off with 2 amazing victories. First, the traditional Survivor Series matchup in the Garden. Then his title win 4 weeks ago. Can he make more history tonight? Another crossbody, this time inside of the ring, taking the Great One nearly out of his boots. And Cody Rhodes starting to kick in to a new gear here. Whips the Rock off, scooping a slam. Signature out of the arsenal of the champion. Cody came prepared for combat tonight. Avalanche Coving Cutter. And nearly putting the final boss away. But the Rock able to kick. Cody took his time, got the Rock in a position. Avalanche Cody Cutter off the top. Unfortunately, the Great One has still got a pulse. And he's got a reversal up his sleeve for that matter. And just like that, the Rock has got Cody off his neck for the moment. Cody now going to set. Oh, referee Rod Zapata nearly getting caught up in the wildfire of this matchup. So the Rock will have something to say about that in the backstage area later on. Well, now Rock, big time neck breaker assisted by the middle rope. That extra leverage and that extra height only going to add on to the impact. Only going to take that much more of the WWE Champion. Now the Rock keeping his foot on the gas. Suplex to Cody Rhodes. Rock keeping it simple yet effective. The final boss wants the job done right. The final boss will do it himself. Those the words of The Rock a few weeks ago on Raw. Will The Rock make good on his promise here at Elimination Chamber? Cody Rhodes off the reversal. Cody Rhodes lighting up The Rock in the far corner. Well, the Great One firing back, however. Rock goes under and Cody never saw it coming. Quick wits of The Rock throwing Cody off his game. Rock stated on Raw a number of weeks ago as well, there's a number of superstars that are going to pay for their sins against the bloodline. John Cena, one of them. Jacob Fatu taking care of that earlier tonight. The Rock said CM Punk's going to be next after he gets through Cody Rhodes. Remember, CM Punk was a part of Team Cena back at Survivor Series as well. The Rock now with Cody dead center of the ring, and The Rock locking in that sharpshooter on the American Nightmare. Oh man, how humiliating this could be for Cody Rhodes. A tap out here on the road to WrestleMania that could hand deliver the championship to the Great One. Cody trying to hold on, trying to roll out of this here. Gets The Rock off his tail. Incredible counter by Cody, who now goes behind. Crossroads at a moment's notice. Now it's The Rock, who never saw it coming. But unfortunately, it's The Rock who's going to pop the shoulder. Well, great reversal and great timing by Cody Rhodes. Getting out of the sharpshooter, delivering the crossroads. A great effort by the champion, but simply not enough as The Rock now, standing switch, getting Cody off his back once more. Oh, now it's Cody with a reversal. And the neck breaker takes the Great One off his feet. Rock's a 10-time world champion. Cody's out to make sure it doesn't become an 11th. Rock sent up and over to the outside by the champion. Cody Rhodes, who's hell-bent on going back to the main event of WrestleMania. This time as the defending undisputed WWE champion. Cody now with Rock on the outside. Champion's advantage, of course, in the pocket of Cody. Cody now turning his eyes to the announce table that Rock cleared off earlier. And oof! Now it's Cody sent. Abdominal first, right to the edge of this table. And now Rock mowing over Cody once more with an ever-powerful clothesline. Rock going in to break the count. Of course, he's got to get the job done inside of the ring if he wants to leave Perth, Australia, the undisputed champion tonight. Rock going to pick the bones of what is obviously a weakened WWE champion. Went to war with John Cena 4 weeks ago, and he's been in some battles ever since. And now both men perched on the table. Cody smells disaster, looking to avoid it. Throwing haymakers at the Rock. Rock lighting up Cody. Cody now dishing out some shots, and Rock takes a spill off the top of the table. Cody Rhodes doing all he can to make sure it is not his body that comes crashing down through that announce table. Cody breaking the count, however, obviously has got something in mind to put the Great One down for good tonight. Back on the announce table, this time by the will of the WWE Champion. Rock able to reverse. Uh-oh! Rock bottom through the table! Cody Rhodes left for dead as the Rock bottoms him straight to hell. Cody's carcass sent back inside of the ring. The final boss smells what the final boss is cooking. Another Rock bottom. Nearly securing the WWE Championship, but Cody Rhodes is still alive. The Rock bottom through the announce table. The Rock bottom inside of the ring. But the American Nightmare, well, I was about to say is still moving, but wiped out after the collision with the turnbuckles. Wait a minute! Oh my goodness! The Rock's attention turned to the aisle way. Roman Reigns is in Perth. The Rock had his attention on the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, but at a moment's notice, the OTC has arrived, and the Great One has been thrown off his game. We have not seen Roman Reigns since the last Raw of 2025, where the Rock stabbed him in the back. And now Cody, pedigree. Is Roman Reigns here to aid Cody Rhodes, or is he simply here to ensure The Rock does not get his way? Cody goes behind, second crossroads. Into the cover. Cody retains the title. Oh my goodness. Just when it seemed like Cody Rhodes' minutes were numbered as champion, OTC cometh here in Perth. The Rock bottom through the announce table. The Rock bottom inside of the ring. And even though Cody had survived, he was far from thriving, collapsed off the collision with the buckles. And it seemed all but over. The Rock nearing moments away from becoming the undisputed champion. But just when the final boss least expected it, the re-emergence of the tribal chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns, who was disrespected, who was humiliated, and who was left for dead by The Rock on the last Raw of 2025. But the OTC re-emerging tonight on the road to WrestleMania and ensures that the final boss does not become undisputed champion.
Here is your winner, and still the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
The tribal chief, Roman Reigns, is back. And as we mentioned a moment ago, I'm not sure it was necessarily to help Cody Rhodes. Those two men far from friends. But it was certainly to make sure that the final boss fell short in his pursuit of the championship that rightfully belongs to the American Nightmare. The final boss thought he would do it himself tonight, but he discounted the re-emergence of the OTC. And now we know that coming up in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, will defend the undisputed WWE Championship against good friend, but damn it, he's gonna be a better opponent. Royal Rumble match winner, CM Punk. Las Vegas, get ready. That is gonna be one hell of a main event at the grandest stage of them all. Oh, and it looks like Roman Reigns isn't the only one who made an unexpected trip to Perth, Australia. Great friends for nearly 20 years in this industry, but at WrestleMania, they will main event as opponents. The Royal Rumble match winner, CM Punk, the undisputed champion Cody Rhodes, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium. It is going down once and for all at WrestleMania.